The headline today is, does everybody know Caroline? She's with us? The headline today is exactly that. Can you see it? It said prescription drug prices record sharpest drop in more than 60 years. Okay, got it? Everybody have it? And I told you that was going to happen. The second headline is this. It says, Trump administration marks 15 straight months with zero border releases as apprehensions plunge 94%. In other words, the border, and that means for 15 straight months we had zero people crossing the border. Are you impressed? Is anybody impressed? You are. Thank you. I'll give you the first question, therefore. Go ahead. Go ahead. Anybody?
What do you hope to accomplish?
I have a lot of things that are happening, a lot of good things. The economy is doing unbelievably from the standpoint of Wall Street. We just set another record, as you know. It's 80 times where we're the best market in history. And that's good for 401ks, and it's good for a lot of things, but it's great for 401ks and jobs. I always say it's great for 401ks and jobs. So we hit number 80 record. So 80 days out of a short 1.5 years, we have a record stock market. 401ks have set a new record, and you take a look at the border, 15 months, zero people coming through our southern border. Pretty amazing. And drug prices again. Prescription drug prices down more than at any time over 60 years. Okay, what else do I have to say?
Family members of U.S. service members are concerned about the conditions on board the USS Lincoln.
Well, no, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
Has the deployment's gone on too long?
No. Not nearly long enough. Thank you, everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody. Through the magic of editing, now we see him. You saw him enter the plane, leaving JBA Joint Base Andrews, and then we should see him momentarily exiting the plane in New York, not New York City, but near Long Island.
Where are we going now? That door. Number 4 usually. They tell us, I think. Whatever. Yeah. The Oscar helicopter.
All right, so that's President Trump leaving and landing, leaving New Washington, landing in New York City. And he's there. Today he's going to be doing a speech with, it's a packed house. It's more of a rally than it is a speech. I mean, it's packed house. Todd Blanche is talking right now. So let me back it up so we can hear Todd Blanche talk. I have a whole show lined up, but Todd Blanche and Kash Patel are going to be talking here today. And actually I have those two guys just speaking right now. So let me jump. If it seems like it's quick and hairy, it's because I didn't want you guys to miss anything. Kash Patel is coming up on stage right now, and I've got to work this so I can make sure we fast forward so when President Trump comes on at 3 o'clock. But Kash Patel is hitting the stage through the magic of editing once again. Let's take him.
It is awesome to be back home in Nassau County, right here in Garden City. This was my home for 3 decades. I loved growing up here. I grew up here safe because of the men and women in law enforcement. They safeguarded my family. I'm a first-generation Indian American whose parents fled a genocide from East Africa and lawfully immigrated to this country to watch their son become the 9th director of the FBI, and there's one reason for that. I'm living the American dream because of the men and women in law enforcement, because these guys kept us safe every single day when we didn't ask them to. They didn't care where we came from. They didn't care about the color of our skin. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You guys are the bravest warriors on God's green earth. It's especially humbling to be here with the President of the United States, who's going to come out and announce the largest reduction in violent crime in the history of the United States of America. President Trump, thank you for backing law enforcement. Thank you for funding law enforcement. Thank you for loving law enforcement. Thank you for relentlessly pursuing the mission of justice with the warriors of justice across this country. The men and women of law enforcement love you, and that is why we are seeing these historic results around the country, to include a 20% drop in the national homicide rate, to include a 20% reduction in drug overdose deaths, to include violent offenders seized from around the world. This FBI has led the charge to arrest 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives on planet Earth in the last 16 months under President Trump. President Trump's mission to make America safe again, as he campaigned, he is delivering on that promise. And it is such an honor to be here in Nassau County, back in my home, when he's about to walk on stage and give you the latest update on the statistics. And they are not just statistics. I've spent 10 years working for President Trump. He reads about each and every case that we work on. He feels the pain of those that have lost loved ones. He does not let it lay aside. He takes it home with him. He demands that myself and our amazing Attorney General, Todd Blanche, go to work every single day to make sure that American lives are safeguarded, that no more of our kids are harmlessly and recklessly annihilated by opioids or by illegal immigrants or by gangsters or narco traffickers. President Trump, you have succeeded in restoring law and order to the precipice it should be on. The men and women in law and order across this country have partnered with the federal agencies, including the FBI and our prosecutor partners at the Department of Justice, to apprehend twice as many violent offenders in the last 16 months as they did in the last 2 years of the Biden administration alone. And selfishly, President Trump, I'm living the American dream because of you. I'm living the American dream because you backed the law and order. You backed the blue. You funded the police, and you let the men and women of law enforcement put the handcuffs on bad guys instead of putting the handcuffs on them. So we are going to continue this mission together. We're going to carry forward the mission of crushing violent crime and defending the homeland. We are going to be relentless pursuers of justice. We are going to safeguard our communities. We are going to save our kids. And thanks to President Trump's brilliant leadership, the American dream is not a dream anymore. It is a reality. I'm living it. We're living it together. Thank you, Nassau County. Thank you, Strong Island. Thank you to the men and women of law and order.
All right, coming up next would be Todd Blanche, would be taking the stage. Just want to let you guys know, got a whole show planned for you. Depending on how long President Trump speaks, we're going to have so much information to go on, and a whole bunch of different stories. If you noticed the poll I put up there, I put it up there for a reason. And I think some of you caught on to the wording of the poll. Meaning, if you read the poll right now, and it says, do you think there is a, quote, affordability problem in America since Trump took office? I think that's the very, very important part of the whole thing. So this is Attorney General, no longer interim, the Attorney General, Todd Blanche.
That was great. So I, like Director Patel, also called Nassau County my home for 2 decades. So it's great to be back in this great island, in this great county. I want to thank the Nassau County Police Department for hosting us today in this phenomenal facility. And thank you. We just heard from our great Nassau County Executive, Bruce Blakeman, who is doing everything we need him to do to back the blue, to support law enforcement, and to make this county a safe county that we can all raise our kids in. Since the beginning of President Trump's administration, the Department of Justice has moved at lightning speed. We have charged 170,000 criminals in this country. And
Damn.
just to put that in perspective, that's 50,000 more than the last administration did over the same time period. And we're doing that because we have a president who has said repeatedly that he backs the blue, that he loves law enforcement, that he wants to make this country safe. And indeed, the reason why we're here today is to celebrate what we've done, making America safe again and delivering on President Trump's promise. And that's something we should all celebrate today. The Department of Justice, for starters, is dismantling foreign terrorist organizations and drug cartels. Since President Trump took office, the leaders of the Sinaloa cartel and the CJ&G cartels have come here, been convicted, and not been sentenced to a number of years in prison. They were sentenced to letters, L-I-F-E. And we are not stopping with the leaders of the cartels. We're going after every single drug dealer, every single person who helps deal poison and sell poison in our community, whether they're laundering the money, whether they're facilitating the transfers. And that's something that is a whole of government approach. We're using Homeland Security task forces. What that means for Nassau County and what that means for New York is that we're combining every federal officer, DHS, FBI, ATF, DEA, US Marshals, working with troopers, working with law enforcement, like right behind me right now. And their whole objective is to arrest bad guys. As Kash just told you, it is hard to overstate the effectiveness of what we did in 2025. The first year of this administration, we saw the largest decrease in violent crimes in 100 years. And what that shows you, it shows you what happens when you have a leader, when you have President Trump empowering all of us, empowering me, empowering federal law enforcement to partner with our state and local cops, sheriffs, everybody. It happens when you back the blue every step of the way. My administration and my Department of Justice, if anybody touches a federal law enforcement officer in any way inappropriate, we will prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. I was recently confirmed as Attorney General of the United States, and I will, thank you. And I am not taking my foot off the gas. I know that the men and women in law enforcement, many in this room, many behind me, they want to know that their leaders support them, and we do. They want to know that we support the work they're doing, the fact that they're sacrificing their lives, that they're missing holidays, they're missing weekends, they're missing dinners, so that we all can live in a safe community. And I will commit that I will hold every criminal accountable until every community in this country is as safe as Nassau County. So I am the last speaker before the main event, President Trump. And I am thrilled and honored and humbled to be able to spend a few minutes with you today, but I know that you are not here to hear from me. And so I will end by saying, first of all, thank you. If you are a member of law enforcement like you guys, thank you. If you have a loved one, if you have a brother, if you have a sister, a parent, a son, a friend who's a cop, the next time you see them, tell them thank you on my behalf, because it is truly an honor to lead the Department of Justice, but I know that the work that I do is really nothing compared to the men and women in law enforcement do every day. So I want to thank you guys for being here today. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership, and I want to tell you, God bless America, God bless the blue, and God bless everybody in this room. Thank you very much.
So you got to wonder, as you listen to Todd Blanche and Kash Patel give speeches, they're very short speeches. I'm just wondering if they flew all the way to New York, not a far trip, maybe by Air Force One standards, a hop, skip, and a jump, maybe 45 minutes in the air. But you have to wonder, you got the president, you have the attorney general, and you have the director of the FBI all on this trip. What they also may be doing in the background. That's something I'm wondering. What exactly that they may be working on, as I'm queuing up to see if President Trump is coming out yet. I doubt right before September 11th if this was just a speech trip. I could be wrong. I could be a tinfoil hat guy. That's a lot of firepower in one place just to make a speech. But we shall see. So if you heard President Trump when he got off the plane, no, when he was getting on the plane, he was showing people the crime stats. And one of the things he said when he told them the crime stats, I don't know if you heard him, you could probably rewind it and check what I'm about to say, is he told them, you see, look, I told you this is going to happen. There's an old, adage in terms of marketing and giving speeches and seminars and things of this nature, how you open. And you open with, here's what I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to remind you what I told you. And it is an immutable law of showing people and getting them to understand so that they run in the back and buy your books and things and all that nature. But you're taught that. Tell them what you're going to tell them, then remind them of what you told them. And I think what he just did there, and again, this isn't scripted, I just heard what he said, and I'm thinking to myself, everything I'm telling you, I told you when I was running for president. Now it's happening. And so now I'm doing what I told you. Now I got to keep reminding you, because for some reason we've got all kinds of propaganda going on in this country where people are trying to obfuscate and not let people understand that he's doing what he told you. The crime, down, flatlining. The border, shut like a bear trap. Nothing's happening. The economy, whether they want to admit it or not, is doing well. And the other part of it, which I'm going to show you after he speaks, I don't want to get into it now, but you wouldn't have to go on a propaganda campaign if it wasn't happening. The only reason you launch a propaganda campaign is to try and divide and get people to take their eye off the ball, because if it wasn't working, you wouldn't have to tell people it's not working. You wouldn't have to involve everybody on TikTok. You wouldn't have to involve anybody. People would know, man, this sucks. It absolutely sucks. And so I'm going to go into some of this socialist stuff that happened in the last 24 hours. And every single one of you, let me preface it now before we get to it. J.D. Vance said some things yesterday, and I have been a staunch supporter of the Trump administration, but I think J.D. Vance, unless it was a hoodwink, made a big mistake yesterday. I got to keep it 100. I got to make sure I keep it real. But I think J.D. Vance made a mistake yesterday, and he doesn't make mistakes. So I wonder if it is indeed a hoodwink. And I'll tell you about it when we get to it. And some of you guys may have already heard it. But as I show you in the poll, 82% of you said, no, this affordability thing is made up. And if you go on X and you see all these people, there are more people on the right saying affordability is a problem than there are people on the left. They don't even have to say anything. They can just sit back and watch Alex and this person and that person all say all kinds of things. Trump's losing the war. Everything's horrible. The prices are too high. He lied. He's not fulfilling any of. If I'm a Democrat, I just sit back and let them beat up on everybody. Let them cash their checks and let them beat up on MAGA. We don't even have to do it. Their own people are doing it. That's how bad it is. I posted something yesterday, a little animated baby video of a baby. My prompt was, excuse me, my prompt was, what does a baby look like after it poops its diaper? And I posted that video of the baby's eye, and it made a little bit of noise. And my point in that was, how can you trust any pollster, any, to say that these are the numbers that their polling is finding out when you already know 99.9% of everything else they say or post is anti-Trump? You've destroyed your credibility. I don't know what, for clicks, likes, maybe a couple, Elon bucks. I don't know. But you've destroyed your credibility. And then you come back and say, the polls say. No, the polls don't say. They don't say that at all. And if anybody, a friend, family, coworker, starts talking to you about a poll, say, come here. Let me show you what happened in Wisconsin. They don't have an answer for that. They just hope that it goes into the ether and that you will never remember what happened in Wisconsin, where I'm telling you, never forget. The socialist Hong lady was up by 20-something points. All the pollsters said she was stomping his butt. And then it evaporated, and nobody knew what the hell was going on. And now the media just went completely quiet. They have a new red meat thing that they want to try and shove down people's throats. I've never, ever served in the military. However, my father did, and my brother, as I've told you, went to West Point, got commissioned, did the whole thing, made it to colonel. So I know some people in the military. And this whole thing about how people are jumping off ships because they're freaking out. And you notice, as the lady tried to say it as President Trump was getting ready to board the plane, it's like, get out of here. That is a wrap-up smear personified. Somebody somewhere posted something, and it allows the media to pick it up and make it a big story and blow it up, and then it's everywhere. Oh my God, our Navy, the morale is horrible. People are jumping off ships. Really? Talk to some soldiers. Talk to some people who've been there. Don't listen to me. I haven't been there. But the whole idea between getting in the Navy and being on a ship is because you're in the Navy. And you're telling me that an 8-month deployment or a 9-month deployment is going to cause people to jump off a ship? If you're going to jump off a ship, I don't need to be in the Navy to know maybe you shouldn't have been on the ship. Maybe you didn't realize this big thing that you're on in the water. You might be here a while. I don't want you on that ship. There's a couple guys who do podcasts who've been on submarines. I knew a guy who was on a submarine. I don't want a guy freaking out, under the water. I got to get out of here, man. No. There should be enough screening, enough training to know, I don't think you can take it. We're not going to put you under the water for 6 months. And we're not going to put you on an aircraft carrier for, 5 or 6 months. No. But you got people in the media who are second guessing it because somebody somewhere said this is a story they wanted to push. the rest of us sit back and we see this stuff, and the only person I want to hear from, I want to hear from President Trump. I want to hear from Pete Hegseth. I want to hear from the guys at CENTCOM. That's about it. I don't need to hear it from MSNBC. Don't want to hear it from the New York Times. They have proven themselves to be without credibility. They watched the man get shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, and their headline said, "President falls at event." I didn't forget that. Did you forget it? A lot of people forgot it. A lot of people didn't realize what they had been looking at was just the president falling. Oh, that's all it was? Oh, nothing to worry about. And then today they had their other red meat and they jumped all over that, which nobody cares about. The whole Luigi Mangione thing. And I'm thinking, I'm watching the news on my screen up there, and I'm doing my work, and I'm looking, and I check back 30 minutes, and they're still talking about Mangione. And I'm like, every single minute, did he plead guilty yet? What's going to happen next? What? Why is there such a dearth in real news? Because there is no real news unless this man makes it. They need, and I'm talking about Fox. I'm not even talking about MS Now or CNN. They spent literally 2.5 hours talking about Luigi Mangione because they had nothing else to talk about. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm not going to go on too much longer here. I'm going to bring Espy on. We can talk a little bit until President Trump comes out. I don't want to get into the meat of the show. We'll save that until after President Trump begins speaking. Everybody's waiting. It is 3:01, so he's about a minute past coming on at this point. Let's see if Espy's got any breaking news type stuff. What's up, man?
Hey, happy Friday, man.
Happy Friday. What you got going on?
What's going on with the crazy white liberal women?
You noticed the picture they had of her was at a distance, and we're happy. We're happy it was at a distance. But I was like, it looks kind of weird. I don't know. I could be wrong. It could
Transformer. Let's go.
It could be an upstanding woman. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. What's your first cut you got here? Oh boy, here we go. Right on cue to what I was saying earlier. This one here.
that was the thing I was telling you about earlier, right? It's the worst time to sell a home right now, according to these dire figures. So you could probably expound on that a little bit, Barry, since you're into this. What do you think?
I don't need. Do we need to? I mean, and what I mean by that, when I say do we need to, who believes that? That would be something I would like to know in the chat. Who believes that? And the reason I say that is the worst time to sell. Anytime, put it this way, anytime you see any article anywhere about real estate that doesn't have a location in it, don't bother reading it. Move on.
Good point. Yeah.
You heard the old adage in real estate, location, location, location. And so when you make a broad statement like that and says it's the worst time to sell a home right now, the first question that should come to your mind, even if it's you, is where? Where is it the worst time? Because if I'm not there, I don't care. And so that's my answer at this point is I haven't looked at the article, but saying a blanket statement that it's the worst time to sell a home right now, dire figures show, I would like to know where. I'm not even going to go into the whole South Florida thing because down here.
That area code 305 and you see the palm trees. Isn't that Florida?
Yeah,
That's
305
Florida, right?
is Miami. So
Miami.
I'm waiting to look at the article and say it's a dire time to sell a house. I got my season tickets for next year for the Miami Marlins baseball team, and I'm going to be going down. They're going to have me and Robin come down to an event to watch the Boston Red Sox next week. And the guy who was my rep just moved from New Jersey back down here. And here's, I swear, this is an absolute true story. I said, Brandon, I said, you're back now. Everything going okay? And he goes, I moved the wife and kids back, and we're staying with my father. And I said, why are you staying with your dad? And he goes, it's worse. My dad lives in Sunrise. I live in, I work, if you know where the stadium was, it's in basically West South Miami. And so he has to commute. And I'm like, what's going on? I know you got the money. He's like, I put 5 offers in over the last 2 weeks, and we got outbid on every single deal.
Doesn't sound very dire to me.
I mean, that is real stuff happening in real time. Just from one guy I spoke to today. Like, we just keep getting outbid. And so, it goes back to, which we're going to talk about, the affordability problem. Somebody said housing is too high. I don't want to, let me just tell you this. Without ruining the rest of the show, I mean, that portion of the show, I always say when people say housing prices are too high, the next thing out of your mouth is, or should be, is why? Because I would want to live in a place where the housing is too high. You have an idea why?
I don't live in a place like that.
Because that means people want to live there.
Of course, but you also have to be realistic. I want to live down on a $50 million property in Florida, but I know I can't afford
but I'm
it.
saying
I stay within my means.
We have turned value into a negative attribute.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's where the problem is because if we shift the focus when people are talking like, man, it's too expensive there. Well, you know what? It must be really freaking hot. People must be really want to go there because if you understand the immutable laws of supply and demand, if there was no demand, the prices wouldn't be high.
Right.
So you want your area, wherever you live, to be in demand because that means even if you own where you live, SB, or anybody owns where they live, if it becomes extremely hot, that means you're sitting on a valuable asset.
Right.
To the point where, like Brandon today, he's putting 5 offers on houses, and listing price doesn't mean anything down here. The listing price is basically, let's put it out there, see what happens, and you end up having to pay more than what it's listed for anyway. Is it too expensive? Not to the people who are bidding on it.
Right.
They overbid it. But never mind. I don't want to turn this into.
What do you think about the next story, real quick? The rent going on in New York City, the next cut.
It's exactly
right.
the same thing. I mean, you could, where is it? Let me see, cut 2.
Well, it also goes to show that socialism, communism does not work. They promise you the world, and this is what happens. This is what happens.
It says New Yorkers, okay, you take it.
Okay.
Is that the one? Yeah, that's the right one.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. New Yorkers are shocked after new data confirms New York City rent is surging despite his socialist rent freeze. Turns out rents in the city are soaring. Rent in Manhattan is hitting a record high of $66.55. That's crazy.
Yeah.
10% increase over the last year. And isn't that when he came? Yeah, he was elected. Nationally, under President Trump, rent has either fallen or remained mostly flat at plus or minus 1%, which is below the rate of inflation. Not socialist New York City. You got scammed, New York. You chose a third world socialist. Now you will pay.
All right, so it's the same thing. Why did the rent get higher after the socialist commie mayor came in? Well, he started doing all these things to hurt the market. And so as these people start taking their properties off the market, because I don't want to rent to anybody while this guy is the mayor. I'd rather it sit vacant than get stuck with some lowlife tenant who I can never evict if they don't pay. I'm sorry, that sounds harsh to some people, and some people may think, well, that sounds nasty. No, my protection in case you don't pay is I get to evict you. If you're telling me the eviction laws are such at this point where they're never going to allow you to evict somebody, and who knows who Mandami will put in there, and then who knows if they'll come in and do some sort of assessment that says you need to change the window, and you know what? I'll leave it vacant. I'll take it off the market. And if enough people take inventory off the shelves, then the stuff that's on the shelves gets more expensive.
Well, also too, it has to do with the conditions in New York City. The crime has gone up, the poverty. I mean, just the whole thing. It's just become a hellhole, right? And unlike Florida, where people are flocking to go to enjoy life, people are exiting New York City. I mean, all the rental trucks are probably doing a very good business right now.
Yeah, but see, what you're describing is demand leaving. And what I'm trying to say to you is the demand has stayed probably level, but the inventory came down. So if there's 1,000 units on the market and there's 1,000 people looking for property, you've got a competitive market. They want to move. If all of a sudden there's only 500 units, what happens to the price of those remaining 500 units? It's going to shoot up because the demand stayed up here. The inventory came down. And so at that point, I mean, it's a matter of math, but people don't like it. No, what do you mean? It's what is it? $6,000 a month average. Oh, and by the way, when they say average, they're not talking about a penthouse. They're talking about a 1-1, a 2-1,
700 square foot.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, who's gonna want to pay that price? I mean, if I was looking to go to New York City, I wouldn't want to go and pay that kind of price.
No.
There's other cheaper options elsewhere that are in much nicer locations.
Unless you had to do it because of work or something, But
I would
now,
commute.
Yeah, or get a job someplace else. All right, let me look at number 3 here. You got
That's a good one, clandestine.
Where are we here? Number
the
3.
End of Candace Owens.
I saw. This is the video I saw. Did you watch the video without Yeah, you can still see.
No.
When you
I didn't watch it though.
When you look at the video, does it look like her? I mean, I don't know if it's the lighting or what, but she looks like she's aged 10 years. I mean, here, let's check it out.
Could be the Ozempic.
Go ahead.
All right. So we are witnessing the end of Candace Owens. Not only is she factually incorrect in exposing herself as a liar and a lunatic, look at her nervous and manic behavior. Her body language is defensive, hostile, and lacks confidence. She is nervous and constantly looking at PBD for approval and for him to save her, only for her to be exposed as a fraud. It's time for Candace and her cultists to give it up. It's over. All of you were duped by a psychotic, grifting demon, and it's time for the circus to end.
Do you think it'll end?
Yeah. I think the clicks and the money are going to start drying up a little bit. She's going to have to She's probably going to have to go to the Epstein files. That's a go-to for all these people.
I think the audience that people like her and the guys talk like that.
Oh, you mean like Alex Jones?
I think they have cultivated an audience that will believe anything they say. Because you wouldn't have been watching all that time if you didn't believe every damn thing she said. I mean, she should come out. She can come out tomorrow and say the family forced the guy to plead guilty. He didn't really shoot Charlie. It was somebody else, but they threatened the family. And here's proof that they threatened the family. And it couldn't really happen. And then the nuts are going to go, yeah, they could have threatened the family. And he just made him go to jail for the rest of his life. So there's always a market for crazy. I mean, you don't have to go any further than look at the National Enquirer that's been on supermarkets for seemingly ever. There's always been a market for crazy, and that crazy, how diminutive or it's seemingly at this point larger, is always going to have somebody feeding that beast. So I think whatever she's done, and I think what she's going to do. I think it'll be a loyal following because without her doing it, where are they going to go?
Yeah. It's kind of like Mangione. He pled guilty today. And I saw somebody wrote, he says it's like 9/11 for women with nose rings.
There was a video. I don't, let me see if it was a Mangione supporter. She said, still
losing her crap.
No, she still supports him. I'm like,
she wants. She wants conjugal visits or what?
I'm scrolling. I'm seeing if I can find it. President Trump still hasn't come out yet, guys.
Yeah.
And it was funny because she's a young. She's not an ugly woman, but she. She didn't care. Here
Really?
she is. Here she is, right here.
Perfect.
Let me see. Let me find. I don't know how well the sound is on this, but she's talking about Mangione and. Guys, if you live in New York, go see this woman. She needs somebody. She needs some. I mean,
she needs loving too, man.
I mean, she's clamoring and she's clamoring and advocating for a guy who's going to spend the rest of his life behind bars. And she's like, I love him. He's fantastic.
Oh.
You're never going to have him ever. Listen to this. This dovetails off the stuff we just talked about.
Right.
What's her face? Candace, how there's always a market for crazy. All right, here you go.
I'm here because Luigi has a surprise hearing in federal court. We're not really sure what's going on, but there have been rumors of a possible plea deal.
And how do you feel about that possible plea deal?
I've always said I support Luigi whether or not he did it. So for me, I always knew this could be on the table, so I wouldn't really be fazed by one.
Some people are saying it's a legal tactic to maybe set up a potential double jeopardy situation for New York State Court to protect him from that. How do you feel about those claims?
Yeah, I think it's smart, but it's also risky because there's no guarantee that that will happen. And I do think Judge Caro is probably not going to let it slide that easily based off of my impression on him.
Right.
So I'd be interested to see if that actually works out.
Right. How do you feel about Judge Caro in general and how he's handling the press at this point?
Yeah, I'm happy with the final response that they gave with the press issue, but when he was saying, you know, we've always been trying to accommodate more people, I find that to be untrue. In February, there were 300 people up in that hallway, and
hey Barry, I looked at her and I saw that she was pressed, but her outfit was wrinkled. I think she's been sleeping on the street in front of the courthouse.
And yet there's more.
there were murmurs of an overflow room, but actually last minute they ended up shrinking the room. Okay. So I don't think that they've been accommodating until there was an objection made.
Right. And Luigi made an objection, right? He sent in a letter, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it was by the defense, but it stated that the defendant wanted that. And it was the first time I think I've seen that written in a motion.
How'd that make you feel?
It wasn't a shock. I think it's been apparent to me that Luigi wants as many eyes on this as possible. Mm-hmm. So that
okay. You know, you and I, well, yeah, you're about the same age. We're too young to understand what happened with Charles Manson and the Manson family. Like, you know, we've read about it since we've gotten older. Like, what do you mean he had a whole bunch of women following him and they were going out there and chopping babies out of Sharon Tate? What do you mean these women just were following? Now you see.
Yeah.
This is Manson right here. I'm like, wow.
Whoa.
Completely mesmerized.
She's got the bonus vocal fry. You know, everything I say, she has a question after it. You know?
Oh, she's not done yet.
Public can make their own decisions.
Right, exactly. And what do you think the response is going to be if he does take this guilty plea today in general?
I think there will be mixed responses. I know there's a lot of supporters that still think there's a possibility that he maybe didn't do this or that he is going to fight and do all the trials possible. But for me, it doesn't change anything.
Right. So there are some people who don't want him to. I presume some of the supporters who don't want him to think this is a bad maneuvering.
Yes, I have seen people saying online, like, what was this all for? Why were we doing all this? And to those people, I say, you know, this is about a movement. It is about Luigi, but it's also about the conversation he started. So if you were just here for a free, fair trial for him, you know, that's not afforded to most people.
Right.
So.
I think she was talking about her bowel movement. That's the only thing I can come up with.
Oh my God! So
that is the epitome of crazy.
So back to the Candace Owens thing. Yes. There is still an audience for crazy because even though at this point they're saying Tyler Robinson's attorney's like, yeah, he killed him. No, no,
It
they've
couldn't
been
have.
paid off. They've had aliens landed and have made them say the words that they're saying. It wasn't true. Nothing.
It was the
adds
Jews.
up.
It's the Jews.
It's the Jews. Yes, there
Oh
is
my God,
always
that's
going
crazy,
to
Barry.
be a market for crazy. President Trump hasn't come out yet, so I can probably
All right.
slip in this quick spot for Lear.
Commercial break.
Let me do that and jump back out
You're
here because I need a break after hearing somebody listen to somebody who killed somebody in cold blood from behind. He walked up and shot him in the back. You know, he's still a great guy. He's like one of the best guys ever.
Yeah.
You know, the Mandami thing. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
All
All
right,
right, see ya.
I'll be right back before Trump comes out.
Right.
I don't get it. And if I didn't show that to you guys, you probably wouldn't have realized it everywhere either. It's crazy. Let me tell you about Lear Capital, one of the partners on this show. They've been with us for quite some time. And I realize right now as we're pulling, it seems like we're pulling out of this Iran thing and people are starting to feel better, but some people still aren't ready to pull the trigger. So I have talked to the people from Lear, and what we feel is people don't know enough. They haven't been able to get the education. And if you find it really hard to understand all the technical information regarding the economy overall and all what's going on in the markets, it's not your fault. More than likely, no one took the time to educate you on the difference between a bond, a stock, a future, a commodity, never mind gold and silver. But now you don't have to feel like that. My friends at Lear will help you learn about gold and silver at your pace before you jump in. They're making it easier for you to make an educated and informed decision on your time at your pace about gold and silver. Now, all you have to do is text the code BARRY to 43343. From there, you'll be sent a link that you can download or go to their site and you can download a special report. That special report is yours for free. It'll allow you to learn a lot more about gold and silver, the timing, the difference between actual silver and gold instead of just like paper stuff, you know, silver, actual coins, gold, actual stuff, not those certificate things that can get you in trouble. Find out what the difference is. And once you do that, you'll feel hopefully more comfortable. So now learning about gold and silver is extremely convenient and easy. Just text the code BARRY to 43343 and they'll get you that link so you can download that special report or a number of special reports if you'd like more than one. Again, go to text Barry to 43343. President Trump has not come out yet, and so I'll take a quick break and we'll be back in 90 seconds.
Wow. There's a lot of people outside trying to get in. A lot of people outside, but I just want to say a very special hello to New York and a very, very special hello, Long Island. I love Long Island. I'm thrilled to be back in the state I love, and I do love it. I'm so proud of it, but it's going in bad direction. We got to change it around. We'll get Bruce in there. We'll change it around. We're going to change it around. You watch, he's going to do well, but to be with the hardworking patriots of Nassau County, appreciate it. And we're especially grateful to be joined by the incredible men and women of Nassau County Police Department and a lot of other law enforcement. I've known them a long time. There's never any problems, I'll tell you. They're winners. They're just winners, pure and simple. And thanks as well to your brothers and sisters in New York's finest, the New York PD. We love our New York PD. And we're here today to celebrate the historic progress our administration is making together with law enforcement partners nationwide to restore law and order in America. Very simple. A very simple phrase, isn't it? And with these professionals, it's a very easy thing to do. You have to give them, you have to let them do their job. That's all there is. You won't have any problem. That includes right here on Long Island, where under the leadership of your county executive, a great person, a friend of mine for a long time, a great political leader, a great politician, but I don't want to say that negatively. He's a great politician. He wins all the time. He won in a big surprise like 8 or 9 years ago. I remember I said, man, that's tough for you to win in that location. And then he's won in landslides ever since, and he's a winner, Bruce Blakeman. And I said it. I said when Bruce's name got up, I said, you know, if they give that guy just a little bit of a chance, just a little bit of fair treatment from the fake news and everyone else, he's going to win. No, he's going to win. I mean it. But under Bruce, think of this. Nassau County has been rated the #1 safest county in the United States of America. That's not bad. That's not bad. Think of that, the #1 safest county in the United States of America. There's, I think, 6,700 counties. That's not bad, Bruce. Let's keep it up. Do a little bit better next time. How do you top that? U.S. News and World Report gives you a perfect score in terms of crime, 100 out of 100. And under the Trump administration, we're working every day with leaders like Bruce, and local police like we have here. We have some of the greatest police officers in the world in this room. And a lot of them, unfortunately, they're standing outside trying to get in. Should we let them in? I don't know. We don't have any room, but let's let them in anyway. Who the hell cares? Who cares? Let's let them in anyway. But dangerous offenders off our streets, and they've taken them, they've brought them off our streets, put savage criminals behind bars. And you know what they're doing? They're making America safe again. They've done a fantastic job. And in the past 4 years before I took office, our country was overrun by violent criminals. I mean, you remember just a couple of years ago how bad it was, right? It was really bad. Foreign gangs, savage thugs with Biden. Sleepy Joe. What a horrible 4 years. That was 4 years in hell. We lived in hell. With Biden and the radical left Democrats. We call them Democrats now because their policies are so dumb. Fighting to defund the police. Does that play well in this room? Is there anybody that's in favor of defunding the police in this particular? You'd be afraid to say it if you were. And wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including prisons and jails and mental institutions, insane asylum. You know what that is? That's a mental institution on steroids, you know that. They come from both, including 11,888 murderers, many of whom have killed more than one person. More than 50% killed more than one person. And we took them in with open arms. How stupid could we be? But we're getting them the hell out. They're moving out fast. We're getting them out, and you're helping. And the biggest problem we have, the biggest impediment we have are sanctuary cities, you know, where they protect criminals. It's called a sanctuary for criminals. We ought to change the name, a sanctuary for criminals. But the day I took the oath of office as your 47th president, we ended the border invasion. By the way, we have the best border now in the history of our country. We ended the war on police. And we declared a very strong war on crime. It's been really amazing. We've let our outstanding new Attorney General, happens to be with us. I was surprised to see him. He just got sworn in 2 days ago. Todd Blanche, he's going to be a legend. Where's Todd? I know him very well. I know him for a long time. He's going to be the greatest maybe ever. And we had some good ones in the country. I think he's going to go down. He's got a shot at being the greatest ever. if he remains tough and strong, he'll never change. Are you going to change your ways? I don't think so. If he doesn't change his ways, he's going to go down as the best. So I want to thank Todd, even for being here. Just got sworn in, as well as a Long Island native, born right here, and he's doing a good job. And those numbers are the best numbers anybody's ever seen. FBI Director Kash Patel. Best numbers anybody's ever seen on crime. And with your help, last year we achieved the largest drop in murder rate ever recorded, the lowest level in 125 years. That's since the year 1900. That was before my father was born. He would not have liked me saying that because he always liked to say he's quite young. But he wouldn't have liked that. Think of it, 125 years ago, we broke the record. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I just want to thank all of the people in this room. And today I'm thrilled to announce that the FBI has just released a new uniform crime report showing that in 2025, we achieved the single largest reduction in violent crime in American history. Pretty amazing. And last year, there were over 3,100 fewer murders than the year before I took office. Remember this, though? And we allowed, through the stupid open borders policy, 25 million people to come into our country. Many of them are now gone, but 25 million people, that's the number, that's the real number, to come into our country. Many of them, the people I just said, drug dealers, prisoners from all over the world. They came in from the Congo, they came in from South America. They were in, and despite that, we have the best crime record in recorded history. 2,000, think of this, rapes, 10,000 fewer. We had 10,000 fewer rapes than the year before, 1 million fewer assaults, robberies, burglaries, thefts. The numbers, every single number is first time it's ever happened. Every single number is the lowest number in recorded history. And according to the latest data, crime has continued to plummet under our leadership in 2026, with robberies down another 20% and murders down another 23%. So the numbers you just heard, the preliminary numbers for just now, are even lower than the record numbers that you just heard. So it's a great tribute to all of the people in this room. Together, we're showing what is possible when you finally have a president in the White House who supports our police, who lets you do your jobs, and who always backs the blue. We back the blue. And you know, and I have been from the beginning, long before I ran for office. Who would have thought 10 years ago? I've been doing this for now a long time, but not that long if you think I'm president, if you think. It's a pretty quick trip. But I'm with you, and always was 100%. 100%. And my administration is proving billions, and we're giving you billions and billions of dollars to hire, equip, and train new police officers. We're giving you more money than you've ever been given in history. More money, and you're going out and you're buying the best equipment you can buy. As president, I will always protect our qualified immunity. Would you like qualified immunity, everybody? Qualified immunity. It's always very important. I also deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore public safety in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And in D.C., Memphis, and New Orleans, we've removed over 30,000 criminals from the streets in a single year. In Memphis, crime is down 71%. In New Orleans, crime is down 75%. And in D.C., crime is down 81%. I'll tell you, because D.C. is very personal for me, but in D.C., crime is now, it was so bad when I got there. A year and a half ago, people were being murdered, 3 a week on average. We have very few murders anymore. We have very little crime anymore. We've taken it from the worst, one of the most dangerous, can you imagine our nation's capital, one of the most dangerous cities in the country. We've taken it to one of the safest cities of the country, in the country. And we moved them out. We moved almost 5,000 people out of D.C. And you know, it's a very interesting stat. 2% of the people create 91% of the crime. I love that stat because we can handle 2% of the people. If it was 60% of the people, we got problems. It's 2%. They're repeat criminals, sometimes 3-4 times a day with this cashless bail stuff. They repeat. They go into court. The judge says, "Oh, you can go," and they go out and create another crime. But think of it: 2% create 91% of the crime, and that's something we handled very well. We moved out in Washington almost 5,000, in many cases, career criminals. They're not there anymore. And every day I come to the White House, people are thanking me. "Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir." No, these young, beautiful girls, these young, beautiful girls in the White House, you know, they come in. Now, I'm not supposed to say beautiful, but what the hell? These young, these gorgeous, beautiful girls, they want to be safe, and they come, "Mr. President, may I speak to you?" "Yes." "Thank you, sir. Thank you." I said, "Why are you thanking me?" "Because a year and a half ago, I was afraid to leave. I was afraid to open the door of my apartment. And now I walk to the White House every morning and I have absolutely no fear." "Thank you, sir." Now I get it all the time. Men, women, older men, younger men, and older women and younger women, they're all saying thank you, and I know exactly what they mean. We lived in a hellhole. 2 years ago, we were in a hellhole, and now we have one of the safest cities, and it should be safe. It's our nation's capital. We represent the whole universe, frankly, because there's nothing like the United States. Look at what we've done. Thank you. And you know, for other cities like New York, Chicago, LA, all they have to do is call us and we will stop that crime. We'll stop that horrible crime. We come in with the right people. We come in with the power to move people out of the country if they're here illegally, and a lot of them are criminals that were let in through that open border, that horrible. Remember the scene? Remember the scene? Well, you saw it the other day in Spain, right? Okay, now envision that. They allowed 65,000 people in. Now you remember 25 million people. We were worse. That was like that every single day in our country, and that went on for months and months. And then we had a border czar, as you remember, Kamala. She was a border czar. She never went to the border, and she never once called Border Patrol. Other than that, she did an excellent job. She was a great candidate. I think they should run her again. She was a great candidate. But since I took office, federal law enforcement has arrested incredibly 1.2 million criminals nationwide, and bad ones. We want to make sure we get the bad ones. And we've increased federal criminal prosecutions by over 50%. And under the Trump administration, the FBI has nearly doubled its arrests for violent crime. The violent criminals are being arrested, and that's why you see the good crime numbers. I mean, you're seeing crime numbers even in places that do not do. Let's say they don't have good leadership, like Chicago has very bad leadership, but we have the numbers down because of what the federal government's doing. We get no credit for it because they say, well, we get no credit for it. They like to take all the credit, but everyone knows we've done an amazing job. The U.S. attorneys and the FBI, all the people, Kash and Todd has been unbelievable. We get all the credit. And as of this week, we've captured 9 out of 10 fugitives on the FBI's most wanted list, and that's a virtual record. We have a list. We have a list of 10 not nice people. These are not nice people, David Mack. You know, David, stand up, David. One of the wealthiest guys. He's got so much cash. He's got so much cash, he doesn't know what to do with it. And he wants to be safe. They save your ass, David, I'll tell you. You have no idea, David. Anyway, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. He's a real estate man, a very good real estate man. And he used to be my enemy, but now he's very nice to me. Now he's very nice. He used to be my competitor, but he's a good man. He's a great, brilliant real estate person, too. It's good to have you, David. Shortly after taking office, I signed a historic executive order directing that anyone convicted of killing a police officer should face the death penalty. And last year, deaths of law enforcement, well, think of this, deaths of law enforcement officers in the line of duty fell to an 80-year low. That means people aren't playing games anymore. It's an 80-year low, still too many, but it's an 80-year low, despite all of our extraordinary progress to restore safety to every community in our land. The radical left, the Marxists, the communists, they're communists. These aren't socialists. Socialists are no good, but communists. Remember I said at the State of the Union speech, the last one, we will not be a socialist country. I was right. They want to make us a communist country. They've skipped socialism. They skipped socialism. Can you believe it? So at least I was right. I like being right. But they continue their war on police and their destruction of the rule of law. The communists want to turn America into a third world country, into a hellhole of crime and filth. You ever notice, I said it a week ago for the first time, the first thing you see, I see, before you even see the crime becomes staggering, is the streets become filthy dirty. They're disgusting. They smell, they rot, but everything becomes dirty. And then you see the crime and you see all the other things. But I don't know, I'm not sure you've ever heard that said by anybody else. Most people wouldn't say it, but it's true. And squalor, and you know, it just becomes so bad. And then the death comes, and it becomes really a true hellhole. And we're not going to let that happen to New York State. And that's why we have to get Bruce into office. They rot, but everything becomes dirty. And then you see the crime and you see all the other things. But I don't know, I'm not sure you've ever heard that said by anybody else. Most people wouldn't say it, but it's true. And squalor and New York's disastrous no cash bail law. You know, it all started, if you think about it, because I've been here for a long time. I love this place, but it gets harder to love. It really does. But if you think, it really started with the no cash bail. Remember that? That was a Cuomo beauty, right? That was a Cuomo beauty. In other words, no cash, don't worry about it. You kill somebody, oh, that's okay, go ahead. Then you go out, kill 2-3 people a day. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And you can't, it's like men playing in women's sports. It's so crazy, you can't believe it. It's like transgender mutilization of your children. And all these people believe in all this stuff, but they came out with that one with the no cash bail. Just think of it, no cash, you kill somebody, you rob a store, you go right back out on the streets. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I don't know, from a political standpoint, I guess it's good, because Bruce, how the hell can you lose to that? You're gonna be ashamed. If you lose, you're gonna be ashamed for the rest of your life. You'll be ashamed. Bruce would say, how did I lose to that? No, I mean, think of it. Open borders, let's have open borders. Have the entire world pour into our country, 25 million people in 4 years. She supported the release of convicted murderers who killed New York City police officers. She wanted people that killed our great police officers, one in particular in Long Island where I went to the funeral, and he just met the people that gave this law enforcement chapels, and rabbis, and met a whole group, and they were there, and they gave the most beautiful sermon, but they kill. These are absolute killers, and then you're not going to change them. You got to get them the hell out, or you got to put them away, and if you don't do that, you're just wasting a lot of time. This whole concept of what they do, the only thing is, from a political standpoint, it's so easy to run against, because it's just common sense. You know, I guess I'm a conservative guy, but I'm a common sense guy more than a conservative guy. It's all about, politics is all about common sense. Bruce is a common sense guy. Bruce is a common sense guy. All of our Congress people that are here, you know, we have all our Congress people here. That's a big deal. I think if you said, would you rather have Bruce Blakeman win or all of your Congress people? I don't know, Bruce. I think I'm going to have to give you up. I might have to take the Congress people. It's so important. Okay, they're very happy. She signed a law weakening the parole enforcement for convicted felons, really weakening it. She spent millions and millions of dollars providing taxpayer-funded lawyers to illegal aliens. If you weren't an illegal alien, you didn't get a lawyer. But if you were an illegal alien, you got lawyers, and they were very good. They were radical left lunatics, but they were very good, very effective. She's in favor of the sanctuary city. She thinks the sanctuary cities are wonderful, which are killing our country. And less than 3 months ago, Kathy Hochul signed a deadly and sedacious new law making New York a so-called sanctuary state. So she took it from the city to the state. Meaning Kathy Hochul wants to release migrant criminals from jail and set them loose on innocent New Yorkers all over. Every street has people that are not supposed to be here. And the reason they left their country is a lot of bad reasons. You know, I know a lot of the leaders of these countries. They're very smart. More than smart, they're street smart, very street smart. And they don't want these people. So what they did is they sent them into the United States of America through the open border. And people like Kathy Hochul, they want to keep them in New York. We don't want to keep them in New York. We don't want them. We don't want to take a chance. Yeah, maybe they'll get better. You know what the chances of? About 2%. Maybe they'll get better. But Hochul and the radical left stand with the gang members, child predators, violent felons. We stand with hardworking New Yorkers. We stand with the great people of law enforcement. And Hochul and Mayor Mandami were against securing our border. They were against our massive tax cuts. They were against no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our seniors. They were against all of that. They fought it like hell. Is that right, Congressman? Am I right? Nick, right? They fought like crazy. I mean, we didn't get one vote. We have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and you cops get a lot of overtime, obviously. You get a lot of overtime. I made you a lot of money, but you deserve it. And no tax on Social Security. Think of it for the seniors, and a lot of seniors. Is anybody happy about that, seniors? Are you happy about it? Let me do a quick poll. If you had your choice of only having one, clap for the one you like best. No tax on tips. No tax on Social Security for our seniors. No tax on overtime. I know. I knew the one they'd like the best. But she wants to raise your taxes. Think of it. She and all of these people are against these things. And if they get in, they're going to take them all away. They're all going away. Yeah, that'll be next. Yeah. That could happen, actually. If we keep making money like we're making, we're the hottest nation anywhere in the world right now. Hottest. We're building more plants and factories than any country anywhere in the world in history. Think of it. We're building, and the jobs are going to be fantastic. You know, in a couple of years, 2.5 years, somebody's going to be elected. And will you please remember one thing? Trump is the one that did it. These factories are all going to be opening up. They're going to be all opening up. They're going to be opening up, and they're going to say how brilliant they were, right, Todd? They're going to be saying, brilliant. Think of it. We have $19.2 trillion being invested in our country. You know why? Tariffs. We're making a fortune with tariffs. They like to say, oh, tariffs here. They have no idea what they're... Basically, if you build your plant here, if you make your product here, you don't pay tariffs. If you make your product in another country, I say, I want you to pay 50%. We don't want your product if you make it. So they're all moving in, And they're spending $19.2 trillion so far. It's actually more than that because that's as of the first 13, 14 months. And it's been a little bit longer than that. But think of the next governor and think of the next for your state. But more importantly, think of the next president. Your next governor is going to say, what a great job. You know how many factories and places are being built in all of the states? And your next president is going to say, what a great job I did. He'll be sitting around watching television, a real stiff. Unless you vote Republican, of course. But no, they'll be sitting, say, darling, look at the great job I did. I don't know what the hell's happening, but this country is good. I'm telling you, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. 19.2 trillion is more than invested ever in history in any country. And another little stat, I love these stats. I love these. I hate reading these boring speeches because, to be honest with you, isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't have to read a teleprompter? Teleprompters are easy. They're bored. You get a little bored with teleprompters. But here's a stat that they never write down, but I think it's one of the most. At this moment, right now, there are more people working in the United States of America than ever before. We've never had anywhere, not even close. Think of that stuff, right? Think of that stuff. And one other thing I have to say, they keep talking about affordability. Affordability, I walk in, I'm in office one day, and those fakers, look at all that press back there. Wow, fake news. But they keep talking about affordability. When I got in, you remember the first news conference, it was one day, they started screaming, what about eggs? What about eggs? Eggs. I said, tell me about eggs. What's the problem? They're up 5 times higher than they were just a year ago. I said, I've just been here one day. And then they started screaming affordability. And, I made the statement, but they always misread it and everything else but I said, the Democrats saying that is a hoax because they're the ones that cause the affordability. We're bringing the prices way down. Look at what's happening, coming way down. And after we finish defeating Iran, which is being very badly defeated, pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States. Essentially, that's what it is. We have the blockade. No ships get through unless we want them to. But, and how about Venezuela? Venezuela was a one-day war. And now we work great with them. We've taken in millions and millions of barrels of oil. But we're doing really good. We're doing good in every way. I built the military, and now I used it a little bit more than I wanted to, frankly, but that's okay, because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Do we agree? Can't let it. So most things are down. And I had, before I started that, I had to make a journey. I said to my guys, I said to Howard, Scott, Marco, they're all fantastic. What a great group we have. But I said, fellas, we had just had the best month anyone's ever had as president. The numbers had just come out. I just got back. I was in Iowa helping some people. And I was in office. And we're looking at the pump. And it's $1.95 a gallon. And another one was $1.85. I said $1.85 a gallon. And I meet them the following day. I said, I have bad news for you guys. We have to make a little journey to the Middle East because we have to put out a potential disaster, a potential very big fire like you've never seen. We can't let Iran keep going. They would have had a nuclear. If we didn't hit the B-2 bombers, if we didn't hit them, you would have had a nuclear weapon. And it would have been a very sad day for this country and for the entire world. So I said, we're going to have to put out the fire in the Middle East, and we've done that. They're never going to have a nuclear weapon. We have loaded up. So I just say this. So for you to pay a tiny little bit more for your gasoline, just remember, you're doing it so that a very evil country cannot have, a country really, it's the #1 state sponsor of terror in the world. We don't want to have them have a nuclear weapon. So remember that when you have to pay a little bit more, you're at $4. It's okay. I mean, it's, I'll never apologize. I did the right thing. But you could, you know, if you didn't have, you'd be at, I mean, I had it down to below $2 in many states, but in California you can't include because they keep taxing. You lower the oil price and they end up taxing you more than what you lower it. But you just have to remember that what we're doing is a great service for the world, not only for ourselves, for the world, and we're really doing a great job. Our military is unbelievable. The blockade is unstoppable. It's a wall of steel. The blockade is a wall of steel. But the policies of Hochul and the Democrat colleagues, like crooked, oh, she's the worst. Is she the worst? Crooked Attorney General Letitia James. She is the most dishonest, a real slob. You know, they had her. She got off on a technicality. They had her, but she got off on a technicality. But let's see what happens. You remember when she was campaigning and we will stop Donald Trump. She's not supposed to say that. She's the Attorney General. We will stop. She didn't know anything about me, but she campaigned on we will stop Donald Trump. Well, I think I'm hearing, am I here as president? Yeah. She's, by the way, Letitia James is a disgrace to law, order, law enforcement. She's a disgrace. She's a dishonest person, very dishonest, very crooked person. Remember, I used to say that about James Comey. I was right. These are dishonest. These are dirty cops. You know the expression? You got dirty cops, too. Letitia James is essentially a dirty cop. And you have a person running, who I just met today for the first time, and I've endorsed her, running for Attorney General. Where the hell are you, ma'am? Where are you? And I'm hearing you have a hell of a shot. Her resume is unbelievable. But the reason that all of the products in New York, pharmacies and convenience stores are all locked behind glass, how do you do that? You know, I used to go, you go into a drugstore, you go into a store, you buy something, you buy a toothbrush, you buy some toothpaste. Now you have to open up glass. It's no way to run a business. I don't know how the hell they can make money. They can charge you a lot. I don't care how much they charge. They can't be making any money. Actually, I have a store on Wall Street, and they said, sir, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. I go into the store. This is before I left. I go into the store. It's a drugstore, well-known, big brand, good store, beautiful store, right across from the New York Stock Exchange in the building. And beautiful, everything's beautiful. There's only one problem. I walk into the store. I said, what's going on here? Every shelf has glass on it, and it's got a lock and a key. I said, why do you do that? How do you live like that? You want you want a toothbrush, or you want a little toothpaste, or you want to get a little Dove soap. You know, you have nice skin. One Dove. You can pour it gently on your face. Keep your skin very nice. You want a little of that good hair that can puff up your hair a little bit more, so it makes you look like you have 4% more hair than you had. They charge you a fortune. And you have to call the clerk. Sir, would you please help me? Yes, sir, I will. And they open up a door at the last door, and they give you a bottle of shampoo. Give me a break. And that's because nothing happens to these criminals. Nothing happens to them. It's not like that in other places. It's not like that in other blue states, but it's not like that in Republican states. I can tell you that. But 3 weeks ago in Kathy Hochul's New York, a demented criminal with 14 prior arrests threw an elderly woman, you know, you saw it, onto the subway tracks, almost died. It was a miracle, barely lived. I mean, what's your definition of live? 2 weeks ago, a wonderful 12-year-old boy named Jacob Fritiz, you read about this one, was tragically shot and killed by a stray bullet fired by a repeat offender in a gun battle. He was having a gun battle with his friend, shooting bullets all over the place. Jacob was the son of a loving mom and a retired New York City police detective, and they are incredible people. And I think I heard that they may be with us today. Are you with us? May I introduce you? Please. Incredible, horrible story. What a horrible thing. But we're going after them. I just said we're going after. These are bad, sick. They're sick people. They're sick people. Also with us is former New York PD officer Ethan Corey. Where is Ethan? Ethan Corey, who 3 years ago arrested an illegal alien criminal in New York City. Oh, that's the guy. I remember. I remember him. He arrested someone for endangering a child, only to watch that migrant criminal be released under the sanctuary laws that Kathy Hochul so fervently supports. And just imagine the anguish that Ethan felt when he learned that that same monster was arrested for murder and murdering a beautiful young nursing student who became a very famous person after her death, unfortunately, Laken Riley in Georgia. Now, if they had the proper laws, you did your job, you did it, but they just released this animal into the world. I just want to thank Ethan Curry. Please accept our congratulations and our love. Thank you. Thank you, Ethan. And he was devastated. He was devastated. We've been together twice, but he was devastated because he had the guy. It was all done, and they released him. And he said, "Don't release him, don't release him," begged him, but they released him, and he went on. The following couple of days later, he killed Laken Riley. Thanks to our Republican majorities in Congress last year, it was my honor to sign the Laken Riley Act, into law, helping us ensure migrant criminals are swiftly deported. It's been held up too. It's been people are following it very closely, but and we named it after Laken for a very good reason. The family was devastated. And I want to thank Bruce Blakeman for working closely with federal law enforcement to remove more than 2,000 migrant criminals from Nassau County. He removed 2,000 absolute total criminals. That's why your records are so good. That's why you're #1 in the whole country. I got to check that, Bruce. I don't know about that. But that's why you're #1 in the country. It's time for the people of New York to remind your politicians that their job is not to protect the criminals. Their job is to protect the good, hardworking people of New York. And that's why right here in Nassau County, Bruce Blakeman hired over 700 new police and correctional officers to keep New Yorkers safe. I don't know, should we do this? Come on up, Bruce, come on. Should we do it? Come up, Bruce. You got it.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. See, Sid Rosenberg's here. What are you doing? You're supposed to be on radio. Listen, we are so honored to have President Trump join with us here today in these magnificent facilities that we have here in Nassau County to honor the men and women of our law enforcement professionals and firefighters. And especially we want to thank President Trump. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart because I meet mom and dads everywhere I go throughout the state. Thank you, Mr. President, for sealing our borders. There are less and less moms and dads that are burying their children from fentanyl and the illegal drugs that came through our porous borders during Biden-Harris. Thank you, President Trump, and God bless you for everything you do. We appreciate you. Keep going.
That's what you need. That's what you need. He'll be great. No doubt about it. A lot of times I'm with people and I'm sort of not very sure. I'm sure of this one. He's going to be great. The official communist platform calls for abolishing the police, abolishing prisons, abolishing qualified immunity, abolishing all immigration enforcement, and giving full amnesty to 50 million illegal aliens. How about that? One of Mayor Mondami's closest allies in New York, Daria Liza Avila. I've never heard of her. Who the hell is she? Called police pigs. They're pigs. She said, they're pigs. And she said that end policing, full stop. That's her campaign. That's what she says, end policing, full stop. The radical extremist has not been disavowed by Chuck Schumer, who's a Palestinian. He's a full-fledged Palestinian. In fact, I'm looking for Palestinian garb. I'm going to send it to him for his birthday. I know him very well. Or crazy Nancy Pelosi, she's totally crazy. If you got to know her, you'd say she's crazy. Or Kathy Hochul, who's done such a poor job in New York. In fact, she has the congressional Democrats full support. Think of it. Every Democrat, not the people are going to vote for Bruce Blakeman, but the politicians, they're all for her. Begrudgingly, I have to tell you. The mayor came in very late for her, if you remember. Communism is the greatest threat to our country in history, including World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, or even 9/11. Today, we declare again that America is going to be greater than ever before. It's going to be great. You know, I had a little expression that I came up with called Make America Great Again, MAGA. Who thought that was going to happen when we first said it 10 years ago? All right? First said it, I came up, I said, that's a good sound. Who would have thought? But we're joined today by some of the warriors in Congress who are standing up for our values, including Representatives Nick LaLota, Andrew Garbarino, Nicole Malliotakis, and your former congressman, a friend of mine, Anthony D'Esposito. Anthony. And thanks as well to Sheriff Todd Hood, fantastic guy. Kaylee Buller, who's running. Anthony Constantino, who's running for Congress. Janine Driscoll and Mike LaPetri. Come on up, fellas, come on up. We got to get them in office. Come on up, get up here. Come on up here. What the hell? It's late in the week. We have a couple of words.
Wow, we are so excited. Thank you, President Trump, for lighting this room on fire. We love the work you've done to make Nassau County the best county in New York. We appreciate all the devotion. And thank you for coming here today to support us to keep the Republican agenda going in Washington.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. America is the hottest nation because of you, sir. America's swagger is back. Our enemies fear us. Our allies respect us. And Mr. President, you are here because you know we choose common sense over chaos, and we 100% back the blue. God bless you, Mr. President. Thank you so much.
Long Island, are you fired up? Hey, listen here, Mr. President, thank you for being with us here on Long Island. Now listen, Suffolk County, we're pretty safe too. Any Suffolk County folks in the house? God bless Suffolk County too. Now listen, we Long Islanders, we want two things. We don't want to be able to move to Florida or North Carolina. We want to stay here. And we need two things to stay here. And you're helping us a lot, Mr. President. We want to make it more affordable. And you cutting our taxes helps us stay here on Long Island, but also making us safer. We got our cops here too. We love that you're supporting the blue. We love that you're here on Long Island. God bless you, Mr. President.
Hello, Long Island. How we doing? All right, are we ready to elect Bruce Blakeman the next governor so the entire state can be safe? Well, I'm proud to represent Staten Island and Brooklyn. Sadly, it's part of Mondani's New York City, but we are going to change the tide in New York City and across America, and we're doing it already because of our Republican majority and this great president, Donald J. Trump. My mother fled communist Cuba, and we will never allow that to happen here in the United States, the greatest and freest country in the world. Thank you, and God bless.
I just want to say thank you very quickly to President Trump for inspiring me to be here. I wasn't a politician until very recently. I saw what he did for our country, stepping aside from his incredible business, and I decided I wanted to do the same thing because of him. And I tell you this, I think I'm still an objective person. Bruce Blakeman called me an anti-politician, so I have a clear message to everybody in New York State. Democrat, Republican, Independent, you have no choice anymore but to vote Republican, vote Bruce Blakeman, vote every Republican you can find, because the Democrats are destroying our state.
Thank you again, everybody. One thing we didn't mention today, but we have to, this would not have happened without the president. Let's thank him for getting our SALT deduction back. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
We can't forget this one here.
Thank you, Mr. President. You let me serve you in term 1. I helped on your transition team, and you let me serve you in term 2. And we are going to keep the House and keep enacting your agenda. Woo!
Thank you very much. They're fighters. What you need is fighters. Also with us is New York Republican Party Chair Ed Cox. Where's Ed? Thank you, Ed. Good job. You got a hot one going, Ed. A friend of mine for a long time, Nassau County Chair Joe Cairo. A longtime friend of mine, Senator Al D'Amato, I see is in the audience. Thank you, Al. And another friend of mine, another great politician, Peter King. Thank you, Peter. Great, great. We also have a fearless advocate for victims of crime who spoke at the 2024 Republican National Convention about the murder of her son, Husan. And I tell you, this was a big moment. Madeline Brame, where are you, Madeline? Where are you, Madeline? What a job that was. She got the biggest ovation of anybody in the place, including me. Including me. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you very much. She got a hand for 5 minutes. They were applauding you on the job because they got to know you on television, talking about your great son, and I appreciate it. Along with another passionate advocate for crime victims and a survivor of very violent crime, Jasmine Robles. Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine. And finally, and I have to tell you, he's become a friend of mine because I think he's just great. I used to watch him on television in a slightly different mode. He was a comedian, I guess, an actor. He's sort of everything, and now he does some of the best commentary of anybody anywhere in the world, talking about the Civil War, talking about everything having to do with patriotism. Kelsey Grammer. Thank you, Kelsey. I don't know what it is, you know. Originally, he made me laugh. Now, that doesn't easily go into civil wars and all the other wars he talks about, but you are really, maybe it's the voice, maybe it's the look, probably the voice. Must be the voice. But he's a great guy. There's nobody like him. Under the Trump administration, America is winning again, and America is respected again all over the world. We're respected like never before, and that's because I put America first. We're first. And we're first in terms of many countries. When they need help, they call America. I don't always give it because sometimes they haven't been very good to us. You know, NATO wasn't there for us, by the way. You know, NATO was not there for us. We pay all that money for so many decades. Money, money, money. We say, yeah, give us a hand. Well, sure, would rather not. But we remember. We inherited the worst border in the history of the United States, so we quickly turned it into the most secure border in the history of our country. We took the worst border, and within a 60-day period, we turned it into the best. And I did it twice. If you remember, I did it in 2016, and then they let it go. But the 2016 border was nothing compared to the border we just had. That border was horrible, what they let into this country. The 2016 was like a secure border by comparison, what we just had to go through. And we did it fast. Remember, they said you couldn't do it, you couldn't secure the border. I did it in really 30 days. 60 days became perfect, but really 30 days. And you know the only difference? Because they said you have to go back to Congress. Yeah, I didn't go back to Congress. The only difference is you had a different president. That's the only difference. In the past 15 months, a historic record of 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. And we take people in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. And it was just announced that the total number of attempted illegal border crossings is down by 94%. And by the way, water crossing, you know, for the drugs, 97% down. %97. You know, for years we've been interdicting, they like to say, but for years we've been grabbing those boats, bringing them into Miami and different places. They'd be let go in a matter of minutes, always had good lawyers, and they'd be back sailing sometimes that night. They don't sail anymore. They don't sail. And the 97%, in fact, we're going to give probably medals to some of the 3% because I think they happen to be the bravest people. Anybody getting into one of those boats to bring drugs into our country, I consider them to be among the bravest people anywhere in the world, either that or the dumbest people in the world. With the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, I proudly signed the largest tax cuts in American history just now. Largest in American history. And they wanted to give you the largest tax increase in American history. You know, all my life I've been watching politics, and I wasn't a politician until relatively recently, but I've been watching. And I've always watched politicians, Democrat, Republican, Independent, they get up and we will cut your taxes, we will cut your, even if they didn't mean it, they always said it. These people actually say, we're gonna raise your taxes. We're gonna drive you crazy. We're gonna do things that is shocking. That's why people are leaving New York, because of those policies. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It can't work, it just can't work. And we have to be careful, because as a federal government, we don't want to throw good money after bad. They're destroying the city. They're destroying the state. We want to be there for the state, but we don't like what's happening is a guaranteed failure. It's a guaranteed failure. It's not like, oh, maybe it'll work. It's a guaranteed failure. We have to be very careful. Under our leadership, the stock market has set almost 80 all-time highs since the election. Said another one. More Americans are working today. As I said, to me, it's one of the cool, because, you know, they say, well, employment. They say, how's Trump doing in the economy? He's at 42 on the 42. We built the greatest machine in history. It's the greatest in history. More money invested, as I said, 19.2 trillion with a T, $19.2 trillion. And they say, how's he doing on the economy? Oh, he's okay. Not okay. When I say we have the most people working, and by the way, the fake news, you see those people? If I'm wrong by, I have to be very careful, because if I'm wrong by a half a point, it's headlines all over the place. When other presidents or Democrats make mistakes, that's okay. But if I misstate something slightly, just a little bit, like a half a point, quarter of a point, it's headlines all over the world. Which keeps me extremely honest, I must be honest with you. Under my most favored nation policy on drug prices, we're delivering the largest prescription drug price cuts in the history of our country by far. With price differences of 400, 500, and even 600%. And the headline in most of the papers this morning was the largest drug price decrease in 65 years. And that alone should win us the midterms, really. That alone, because that reduces healthcare, reduces everything. For decades, Americans paid the highest prices for prescription drugs. We paid more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world, and now we pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for prescription drugs. And I could tell you how I did it, but it's too boring. All I know is you had to get other countries to agree, and I got every one of them to agree. You know why? If they weren't going to do it, I said, I'm going to raise tariffs on you. I'm going to put 100% tariff. It's going to be 10 times more. Sure, we'd love to do it. We'd be honored to double our prices. They had to double their prices in order for us to get the reduction. But think of that, 400, 500, 600%. We should win the midterms on that alone. We're making the largest ever investment in the United States Armed Forces. Our armed forces are the best in the world. I built it during my first term, including Space Force, which has turned out to be very important. And now we're using it. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with what nobody's ever seen. We're taking millions and millions of barrels of oil out every single week. And we're likewise winning big with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Nobody has any idea how successful we are. They don't want to write it, but they know. You know who knows how well we're doing? Iran. Think of it. They have no Navy. It's totally gone. 159 ships. They had a total of 159 ships. 159 ships are right now at the bottom of the sea. They had 212 very nice airplanes, some bought from the United States brilliantly through Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? Barack Hussein Obama. And every one of their airplanes is shot down. It's gone. They have no leadership. Their leadership is gone. Their first tour is gone. Their second tour is gone. Their third tour is half gone. That's one of my problems. There's nobody to negotiate with. It is a problem. I said, are you sure this guy's okay? It's the only country in the world where nobody wants to be president. But their radar's gone. All of their high intelligence equipment is gone. Their manufacturing of missiles is 82%. They still have missiles, but not a lot. They still have drones, but just a fraction of what they had. But their manufacturing is largely gone. And I read an article in one of the fake newspapers the other day. Iran is in very good position. They have 350% inflation. Their currency is valueless. I read today where their currency is of no value. And the New York Times said, Iran is doing quite well in the war. These guys, fake news, it's just fake news. There's nothing you can do about it. They're sick. They're just as sick as their partners, the Democrats. In just 18 months, we've turned this country completely around. Our border is secure. Our jobs are up. Inflation is way down. Investment is pouring in. Factories are opening. Our military is more powerful than it has ever been. And America is back, and our greatest victories are still to come. Our greatest victories are yet to come. It's amazing, amazing what we've done. And I would not have said we would have done this in a year and a half, but in a year and a half. And I tell the story all the time. The King of Saudi Arabia, 2 years ago, I was there, and he said, you know, I was in office for a little while, like 6 months, so it was a year ago, and he was with me, good guy, smart guy, under siege, by the way. All those countries are because Iran was known as the bully of the Middle East. And he said, you know, sir, that a year ago, we said your country was dead, and now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. He said that. That's where I got the expression. Many other leaders say the same thing. Every other leader says it, but a lot of them don't like saying it publicly. So in conclusion, with the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, we will crush violent crime to the lowest levels ever. Already there. We're already there. Lowest levels, best crime levels in 125 years on murder and most of the other crimes. We will impose harsh new penalties for dangerous repeat offenders. We will crack down on Marxist prosecutors. We will never abolish the police. Instead, we will abolish the sanctuary cities. We will abolish them. We will destroy them. We will take them out. We're going to take them out of service. And we will immediately end no cash bail. We will pass the great health care plan to stop all payments to big insurance companies. You have to understand, the insurance companies are totally controlled, 100%. They're totally controlled by the Democrats, and give the money directly to the people. They give billions and billions of dollars to insurance companies. We're giving them directly to the people. You go out, you buy your own health insurance, and you have money left over. You end up with better health insurance. So you're going to get better health insurance at a lower cost. And finally, we will pass the Save America Act to defend our sacred American elections. Because all voters must have photo ID, and all voters must provide proof of citizenship. Have to do it. We have to do it. And mail-in ballots, we're going to make them so secure you have no idea. If you want to stay home, you can do it, but we got to make them secure because they are crooked as hell. So thank you. Thank you very much. And we'll also enshrine permanent law. There will be no men in women's sports, and there will be no transgender surgery for your children. No more. And we've essentially killed DEI. Isn't that nice? No more DEI. I don't see the people behind me big on DEI. Were you big on DEI, anybody? That's not a DEI group, I can tell. It never was, by the way. So, ladies and gentlemen of Nassau County, the golden age of America is upon us. It's the golden age. We've never had anything like it. And together with your help and patriots all across this magnificent land, we will make America powerful again. We've already done that. We will make America wealthy again. We've already done that. We will make America healthy again. We're trying to do that. We will make America strong again. We've done that. We will make America proud again. We've done that. We will make America safe again. We've largely done that. And above all, we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you, everybody.
Progressive Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
You know, I realize we are 2 hours in, but now we're just going to start the show. I got a little bit more I can show you, some news I had planned, and I won't take you here for 4 hours. We're going to talk about some stuff in a minute. Going to talk about the affordability thing, which President Trump highlighted once again. And if you notice, there was a little twist in his delivery today. Make America healthy, make America wealthy, make America safe. You know all the words. But he added something which takes me all the way back to the beginning of what I told you before he started talking. I told you there's a big tenet in marketing. Before you go on stage, tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you said you're going to tell them, and then remind them that you told them what you told them. And he just did it again. He did it twice in this one speech. Make America wealthy again. I've done that. I don't know if you caught it. Make America safe again. Done that. Make America healthy again. Yep, we pretty much done that. And he added that now to accent, to put an exclamation point on everything that he has or has his administration has accomplished, much to the chagrin of the whiners and bitchers and panicants. They're all out there saying the wrong thing. They are not going to enhance his message. You're going to have to do that. And tomorrow, I'm going to give you the game plan. Tomorrow, I'm going to tell you specifically how you can combat the negative people, what you can say to them, and how you can say it. I'm going to spell it out in just 12 different bullet points, which you can use every single day, refer back to, and use that as the bullet point plan to destroy the socialist, communists, and the panicans and rhinos. I'm going to spell it out for you. I spent some time. I laboriously put it together. And tomorrow I'm going to launch the plan, the game plan to destroy the left in the midterms. Obviously, he's got something coming. So we're going to talk about some of this stuff here, the affordability, in a minute. Before I do that, let me talk to you about one of today's sponsors is Medicare. I'm not Medicare, Chapter. Medicare is confusing. And as someone who's now 65, I can confirm this myself. Keeping track of enrollment periods, understanding all your options, all that stuff with, renewals, making sure you're on the right plan. Is your what do you call your prescriptions? Are they included? Is your major medical? It takes a lot of time and energy. And between Medicare scams, corrupt agents, and bloated insurance companies, it's easy to make mistakes that can cost you literally thousands of dollars. That's why I'm happy I've been working with the guys at Chapter. They're actually honest and the only Medicare advisor that looks at every plan nationwide, helping people save an average of $1,100 a year. People are often very relieved when they talk to Chapter because it is so easy. These guys won't push you to buy a plan you don't want, and their support is, unlike the Mandami people, it really is completely free. You don't have to pay a dime. So if you're turning 65 soon or even have questions about your current Medicare coverage, call them at 475-328-3545 to get the most out of Medicare. Most people wish they just called sooner. Or you can go to the website, askchapter.org/Barry, and you can book a one-on-one, one-on-one free consultation and get all your answers very quickly. All right, so thank you to the people at Chapter for all their help. I'm going to start the show now. I mean, this is we're 2 hours in, but I'm going to start the show, and we're going to talk to SV in a little bit. But understand, we were talking earlier, just checking right now, the poll has changed a little bit. I put up a poll, and the poll says, the question, do you think there is an affordability problem in America? And then a qualifier, since Trump took office, 21% of people said yes. 79% of people said no. 2,200, almost 2,300 people have voted. So we got a good cross section. The bottom line is almost overwhelmingly, people go, no, there is no affordability issue. And to you who put that, I'm going to applaud you right now because it's BS. So as we get ready to move into the midterms, and tomorrow I'm going to give you the game plan to go at these guys. You can look at it like a coach. I want you to hear something that came up yesterday. And it's probably one of the first times that I have a slight bone to pick with J.D. Vance. Still my boy. I still back him 100%. But I think that the Trump administration is trying to find the language to speak to these younger people. And I don't think what they're saying and what they're telling people is what should be said. So let's start so you guys can hear what I've got to say.
We have brand new Fox News polling, and it finds the majority of voters under the age of 30 think a move towards socialism in the United States would be a good thing. Vice President J.D. Vance responding to that yesterday.
My warning to my fellow Republicans, Will, would be if we don't get this right, don't blame young people for being sympathetic to socialism. We've got to blame ourselves. Rebuilding our industrial base, rebuilding the heartland, making our streets safer, making it possible for young people to afford to buy a home. This is how you stop socialism. You don't stop socialism by throwing slogans at people about the free market. As much as I love the free market, you stop socialism by making people's lives better.
Fox News analyst Kat Tenth joins us now to react to this. Hey, Kat, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for getting up early.
I know, this is very early for me, guys.
Yes, but you love this topic. You wanted to come on. Why is socialism resonating with young people?
So he's totally right. I love this topic because younger people feel locked out of the American dream, and it's not for no reason. The average home buyer in this country used to be about 29 years old. Now it's 40 years old. And socialists, again, if in case no one's ever seen me in their entire life, the opposite way that these problems are going to be solved, not the vision I'd like to see for the country, would make everything worse. However, they're the ones talking about it. They're the ones saying, we see you, we see these problems, and there are real problems. I know sometimes people get mad at me for talking about this, particularly boomers will get mad at me for talking about this, but used to be that home prices were about 3 times the median income. Now they're about 5 times the median income. In some places, 6 to 10 times or even more. That's not a gap that can be closed by just not buying specialty coffee or not buying avocado toast. And that's what we hear a lot from conservatives, right? Is that young people are lazy. They don't want to work. They spend too much money on coffee, and that's why they don't own a home. And young people are sitting here like, that's not true. That's not my life experience. That's not what I'm seeing. That's not what I'm seeing with my siblings. That's not what I'm seeing with my friends. And so they're just going to listen to the people that are at least hearing them or acknowledging that there's a problem. And I think that conservatives, Republicans, free market people of all kinds need to start listening to younger people saying, we hear you numerically. Statistically, there is a problem. It is harder for you than other generations, and provide alternate solutions.
Right, because they're saying, well, what we have now is not working for me, so let me try something else. Here is a man by the name of Jonathan Alpert. He's a psychotherapist, and he's talking about socialism and why so many young people are drawn to it. Listen.
The messaging is very seductive to these young people. They have an opportunity to blame the world, external forces on their problems and their shortcomings instead of looking from within themselves and looking at what they need to do to try to achieve success. And that's part of the seduction of socialism. People just love to blame others for their problems.
Is that true, you think? They're blaming everybody else?
So I agree to an extent, but things just also are harder, right? 45% of millennials don't own homes. And that's the generation above. That's my generation. And a lot of us are just structurally locked out in the generation, right? And the number one predictor of millennial home ownership isn't how hard you work. It's actually family wealth, parental wealth. So there are a lot of things that need to change, and being a hard worker and also noticing these problems are not mutually exclusive things. And I love the free market. I love freedom. I love capitalism. And that is why I care about this topic so much, is I don't want to see this take over. And it will if they're the only ones acknowledging these problems.
Meanwhile,
most of what we saw were crimes of poverty. People who were stealing things like toothpaste, people who were stealing things like, soap. And that means if you're stealing those things, you need them. And we are choosing to protect billion-dollar companies like CVS and Walgreens over the people who are struggling to get by. So I would say that the true crime is that there is such incredible wealth disparity in this city that there are people who can be thrown in jail simply for having a biological need. And so one of the things that I'm fighting for at the state level is to make sure we pass things like treatment, not jail, and that we hold the line on the incredible criminal justice reforms that we have done over the last 10 and 20 years that are constantly being threatened by right-wing media who are looking to fearmonger about people who are actually just in absolute dire straits.
Yeah. It's not their fault at all, huh? It's not their fault. It's the fault of MAGA and Republicans. By the way, the woman you were looking at, and I'm using that term loosely, the woman you were looking at isn't just some protester. That is a New York City Assembly person. That is a person in political office in New York advocating to let people steal if they need stuff. I mean, we are like way, way far away from being able to even speak to these people. Now, I'm going to ask you a simple question, a very simple question, and you keep hearing people, even like Kat Timpf, they keep repeating it. It's like a bumper sticker. And the thing they keep repeating is, we need to make things more affordable. Anybody have any idea how you make things more affordable? Do you just deem them to be cheaper? Hey, listen, I like to buy this phone. How much is it? Well, it probably retails for $1,000. I need to make it more affordable. What do you mean? Well, I can't afford it. I need to make it more affordable. I need to make this $100. Can't do it. Unless you're Tabitha or somebody, this is going to be $1,000. You walk into a restaurant, you need to make this meal more affordable. No, this is what we charge. You see, that's the thing that we keep hearing from people is make it more affordable. How exactly, unless you're a communist, do you expect that to happen? If you own a property and that property is $300,000, tell me how they're going to make it more affordable. I mean, this is the first hurdle. We have to get over the language, make it more affordable. That's BS. There is nothing you can do to make it more affordable unless you're a communist and you take it from people and say, now it is only going to cost $100,000. We're going to take it from you and not allow you to live in this house anymore because those people need it more affordable. That's how you can make it more affordable. Other than that, everybody sitting here watching right now, whether they're on a tablet, a computer, or their phone, living in some house or apartment or condo, how does anybody make you sell your property for cheaper? You see, this is where the problem is right now, and the messaging is wrong from people like Kat, and then even and so much for our vice president. There is no way. It's an impossibility. It is an economic pipe dream that you can, quote, make something more affordable. The market is what the market is. The market will always be determined by you and me. The only thing that makes your property more affordable is if nobody wants to buy it. And so what you're saying is we need to tamp down demand, which is counter to what the entire argument is. The argument is, I want to buy a house, I can't afford it. Make it more affordable. I don't know how to do that. Do you know how to do that? You want to be the first guinea pig to say, I understand I bought this house in 1990. I bought it for $150. They say it's worth in the market now about $450 now, but you know what? I'll take $140 for it. I'm going to make it more affordable. Anybody want to commit that kind of financial suicide? If you do, call me. Nope. Can't do it. So can we just take that off the table? Let's never talk again to a young person or a boomer and say, we need to make things more affordable, because it's impossible. If we can't get past that hurdle, there is no discussion. If you can't grasp and say, there is nothing a government can do to make this more affordable other than taking it from me, because the market determines what this thing is worth. If I went to the AT&T store and they said, hey, listen, we can sell you another one for like $90. Ooh, okay, they made it more affordable. They made it more affordable. Nobody else can. So let's go ahead and take that language off the table. And if you disagree, you're going to have to say in the chat, how do you show me how you make something more affordable? Now, the next thing we need to take off the table is the boomers did it. The boomers, they just sit here, they're selling all this property and they're making all kinds of money, and they close the door behind them. Can we blame it on them and have them do something? Well, what the hell do you want me to do? I'm sorry you can't buy a house that you want to buy. It's not my fault. I didn't create it. There's property I'd like to buy that I can't afford. Should I be blaming that on the people who are trying to sell it for $2 and $3 million? No, it's nobody's fault. What we're having and what all of this is all about is a complete misunderstanding and lack of knowledge of how economics works. And too many people on the left are blaming it on everything but the economic knowledge, and too many people on the right are falling into the trap of trying to combat the conversation with their language. You're never going to win. They will always win if you talk in their language. Too affordable, it's too expensive. Housing prices are too high. Gas prices are too high. There is nobody out there explaining to people why prices are what they are. Nobody. Trump tries. Scott Besson tries. The media, nope, they don't want to hear it. And if there are truly people feeling locked out, one of the questions I have, being in real estate and business, is, what do you mean locked out? Who's telling you, like back in the day when certain people couldn't buy in certain neighborhoods, who's telling you you're locked out? I'm being facetious here because it's the terminology that we're using that's not reaching these people. I showed you a video yesterday of that black teacher who said these kids don't even know how to write a sentence. They don't know how to read. And I knew I was coming here today. I didn't know President Trump was going to be speaking, but I knew I was coming here today to follow up on that. Is how do you teach people economic reality when they can't read and write? I can't teach you about supply and demand. I can't teach you about an amortization table. I can't teach you about FHA programs. I can't do any of that if you can't read or write. If you're feeling locked out, it's because you don't have the foundation that allows you to succeed. Because if you had the foundation to understand how to succeed, the answer has always been right in front of you. You know what that answer I'm getting at? Is you have to seek the knowledge. You can't hold a sign and scream and stamp your feet. You go to people. You talk to mortgage brokers. You talk to realtors, some. You talk to people who are successful. What are you doing? How do you do it? How can I get to the next, rung on the ladder? You have to humble yourself. You have to supplicate yourself. Wow, you got a nice car. I wish I could get a car like that. And I would tell you, stop frickin' wishing. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Completely true. I'm telling you right now, SV's got a story he can relate to as well. It's going to blow people away. Or rather, it should. Yesterday, I was almost out of gas because I wasn't paying attention. And I stopped at a gas station. And I went to fill it up, and I had to put a whole lot in it because I was like almost at E. So I'm standing there in the heat, letting it fill up, and next to me on the next row of pumps is a pretty decent looking late model F-150, and attached to it was a trailer, and the trailer had a riding mower, and it had a weed whacker and some tools and stuff like that. And it was a young black man got out of the truck and started filling his gas tank. And he couldn't have been more than 26, 27. On the other side of the pump where he was is a young college-age kid got out, and they started talking different things and chicks and whatever. And he goes, "What do you do?" And the guy's like, I've got my own lawn business. And the kid says to him, "Is there money in that?" And he says to him, "I make over 120 grand a year cutting lawns. I have 45 clients. I am done by 11 o'clock every single day. And I just come here, fill up my gas, and plan where I'm going to be doing tomorrow." And the kid just was like, "Wow, that's pretty amazing." And he goes, "Why you ask?" And the kid said, "My parents are giving me a hard time about going to college. And the idea behind going to college is go to college, get a decent job, and graduate, and then do whatever you need to do. But people aren't graduating and getting jobs." And so he said, "What did you have to do to get to this position?" And the kid told him. They went back and forth, and they were talking. And he goes, "Why would you want to go to college?" He goes, "The only reason my friends go to college at this point is because they want to party, and I live at the beach. If I want to party, there's always a party to go to." And I called Robin right there in the car. I'm like, "This kid's getting schooled." And eventually they exchanged phone numbers and everything else. But he found out that and here's the punchline. The guy who started a lawn business was in pre-law in college. And he's like, "I'm going to be here for 3 more years, and then I got to go to law school, and I got to hope to get a job at some law firm. And right now, I could write my own ticket because nobody here in Boca cuts their own lawn. Nobody here in Boca cleans their own pools. You drive around here in the morning. If you just moved here and you never didn't know anything, just wait till one morning at about 7 o'clock, drive around, and you're going to find all the vendors you need on one street. There's going to be the pool guy. There's going to be the lawn guy. There's going to be somebody walking dogs. All the vendors. Whenever you go to a gated community, there's always a line to get in. Not because it's residents, because it's all these people providing services for the people who live there. So it's not about making something more affordable. It's not at all about making something more affordable. It's making something more viable. And these kids aren't learning this. Matter of fact, there's older people who aren't learning this. Every single mountain that you look at is just an impediment to get to the top. Some of us, you might have to crawl. You may have to do a crab crawl. But I think we're fighting a losing battle if we keep telling these kids, just work harder. No, that's not the prescription. Here's what you need to do. And I wish President Trump would bring Mike Rowe out. And Mike Rowe could come out and say, "Here, we're going to show you not how to make things more affordable. We're going to show you how to afford more things." Just a quick difference. Then you'll weed out the lazy ones. I'm not calling anybody lazy until they prove themselves to be lazy. Let me show you what you can do so that you can buy that house. It will never be more affordable. There's nobody who's got that magic wand. But the other side of the coin is I could make it so that you can buy these things. And as I listened to Kat, let's see, what else did she say on that? As she was talking, she said most of the people who buy property is based on parents' wealth. Seriously? That's not true either. They're just spewing stuff. And she feels for these kids, but she's not understanding that that's not the answer. The answer is training. The answer is knowledge. Knowledge equals currency. And I feel at this point, these kids are throwing their hands up, and the socialists are coming in. And this is where the knowledge also works as well, is telling these kids, what do you think they're going to do to you? They're not going to make things more affordable. They're going to make you eat worms. They don't want you to be affordable. things more affordable. They want to give you stuff free. The stuff they give you free is not going to be the stuff you want. It's worse. And then the last part is we need to point out the propaganda as soon as we see it. You know what the Republicans are losing right now? The Republicans and MAGA, we're losing the propaganda war. That's what tomorrow is about, how to fight back. We have a whole different level of guerrilla warfare that we've got to get into, because everything right now is completely propaganda. These kids live like this, and people know it. Let me show you in part here exactly what I'm talking about.
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
The European mind cannot comprehend how expensive it is to live in America, especially Texas. I was talking to my friends from Sweden and they were like, what do you mean people work 2 to 3 jobs just to afford rent? Don't forget car insurance, your car payment, and $5 a gallon for gas because you have to drive everywhere. Oh, and the cherry on top is that health insurance is ridiculously expensive and you still have to pay a small fortune if you get sick or injured. Hey, but I thought MAGA and Trump were supposed to make everything super affordable. Dude, no, everything is expensive and about a third of Texas, about 5 million people, are making less than $20 an hour. It used to be affordable, but not anymore. We can't afford to give people a better quality of life, like health insurance or high.
It used to be affordable, but not anymore. When did it change? Now, you're watching here a series of influencers. And you see it, it's a blondie and black woman and another white woman and a guy, and they're all been given the exact same script. They're telling people who do this all day, oh, it really sucks. Oh, it's all propaganda. And people listening to it don't realize these people are getting paid to say this. They found a way to make things more affordable for them. They're just lying to you. And so this is what I'm talking about. Whoever put this together, I guess it says in meme, they put all these together. They listened to them. They found out they were exact same script. And these people are being completely gaslit. Completely.
Higher wages. You know what we do have money for, though? Another pointless war that nobody except Republicans and Trump wanted.
I was explaining to my friend that rent in Atlanta is insane. And he literally said, I thought Georgia was cheap. I actually laughed because I didn't know what to say. People assume that if you work hard and even pick up a second job, you'll be fine. But that is not the reality for a lot of people anymore. Meanwhile, MAGA Republicans keep on telling us the economy is great, but grocery...
MAGA Republicans are telling it. They're reading a script. They're very good at it. But that's why they're influencers. They are influencing people to listen to what they're saying. I told you yesterday how nobody off of TikTok or YouTube is actually talking about affordability. But right now, Republicans are getting sucked into this messaging instead of talking like Trump talks. Hey, this is what we're doing good. Here's this. Here's this. And it seems like he's the only one saying it. And so these kids can keep doing this crazy propaganda.
Gas and housing keep getting more expensive.
I was explaining to my friend from Italy how I literally cannot afford my rent anymore. And she was like, oh, but you live in Ohio, right? Like, isn't Ohio supposed to be pretty cheap? Like, it's not like...
By the way, I don't know how they've taught these kids to talk like this really fast. So is that a thing on TikTok? I don't know, but you got to talk really fast so people can't really hear what you're saying. They all speed talk, and that's not a quickened video. They all talk like that because they're trying to not let the people spend time thinking.
New York or California. And I was like, yeah. Exactly. It used to be cheap. It used to be affordable. And now the prices for everything is so jacked up and it's not proportional to how the state is. And my friend...
You know, it used to be more affordable. Used to be when you were in diapers? See, they're missing it. It's completely... You look like you're 19, 18, 15. What do you mean it was more affordable? It used to be. Tell me what you used to buy a couple of years ago. Some Skittles? What the hell are these people talking about?
I was like, don't you have a second job? And I was like, yes, I do. She was like, oh my God, I thought that was for like extra like saving money or something. She was baffled that I actually have to have 2 jobs and I still can barely pay my rent and afford to live in Cleveland. Like Cleveland. And I was like, yeah, it's because of these MAGA Republicans that just support policies that jack up the prices for everyone and for the working class. And they do not actually care about the working class. And it's just so frustrating.
I was just talking with one of my friends here in North Carolina, and we both said the same thing. We both said we feel like that every single bill we get just keeps getting higher, whether that's groceries, gas, home insurance, like it all adds up, and we both think it has to do with the
home insurance. So are you telling the idiots listening to you that you have a home that you own? Wait a minute, I thought that was impossible. I thought you can't afford a home. You see what they're doing? You understand the gaslighting?
MAGA Republicans and lawmakers. And this is exactly why I'm going to be doing my homework this year before I vote. Because I want to know, and you should too, where every candidate stands on this affordability crisis in North Carolina right now, and how they're going to solve it and make everyday life better for all of them.
I was talking to my...
And I got a couple more for you, but you can hear the exact same words being put out there. This is just 8. There are literally hundreds of them. The kids that you see doing this all day, they can't get away from it. Everybody is telling them, the people they listen to, we can't afford anything, and it's MAGA's fault.
From Europe about the cost of living in Ohio and just how everything has gotten so unaffordable. And he was literally shocked. He was like, but Ohio's a cheap state, I thought.
Genuinely just got off the phone with one of my European friends, and he was in complete disbelief when I told him the prices here in New York, because I genuinely can't believe them either.
My cousin from Scotland just got in touch with me, and now the price of living has gone up like crazy. And he was all like, but you live in Ohio. Like, you don't really have to worry about it, right? Like, that's pretty cheap.
I live in New York, and I was talking to my friend in France the other day, and
you hear it? Exact same words over and over and over. It's mind control. Your friend's family, your grandkids are being completely bamboozled, hoodwinked, and gaslit with all of this MK Ultra propaganda. So there's no way, there's no way we should be talking to them in the same vernacular that they're speaking to each other. That's what we have to overcome. And my fear is what J.D. Vance said, what Kat Tim said on Fox News, is you're trying to fight that. You are not going to beat that. It's more powerful. You are completely outmanned. You're outgunned. This is what they're hearing. We need to tell them otherwise.
I was telling her, I literally can't afford my rent.
I was like, yeah, it used to be, but to be honest, there's no such thing as a cheap state anymore. He says, but you have a second job. Isn't that for like fun stuff, for saving and stuff? Like, just use that for now. I was like, you think my second job is for fun? It's for survival. Have you seen the cost of gas after the MAGA Republicans started a war in the Middle East? Have you seen the cost of...
We can't win this. Not in the way of a conventional warfare. We have to understand we need to speak to them educationally, if they can even be reached. Unfortunately, all these kids have boats.
Groceries in Ohio after the MAGA Republicans did all these tariffs?
1 year ago, I was looking at gas prices being $2, $3 at most. Right now, I'm lucky to find $4 a gallon. That is insane. I was telling my European friend that I'm working 2 jobs to barely cover my living expenses, and he was shocked, thinking that my second job was just for me to put extra money into my savings. I can't afford living in New York because these MAGA Republicans thought it was a good idea to go to war instead of actually lowering prices how they said they would.
See, now, I know what some of you are saying because I've heard it before. I'm not looking at it in the chat, but I can tell you what you're saying. You're like, Barry, make it stop. Barry, we get it. Make it stop. Well, that tells me you're not understanding, because the kids hearing this stuff can't make it stop. The kids who are being inundated by this messaging, there's no off switch. It is one after the other in their time feed, all their friends at school, everybody is saying the same thing, and we're not countering it. Not one of these kids has said, this is what I do for my second job. This is what I make. This is my educational background. None of that. Doesn't matter. I can't afford it. So everything's so fast. Oh, yeah, your second job, it's MAGA fault. It's MAGA fault. And so when you're saying, I don't want to hear anymore, that's part of the problem. Because we're taking for granted that the president and his administration are going to be able to do anything when it's too big. When he ran for president, he said, we got to make it too big to rig. We need to make it too big for, these kids to understand what they're going through, because they're getting bombarded with this crap.
Buddy, please help me, because this is genuinely intolerable.
it used to be. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, I have 2 jobs and I can barely afford it. And he's all like, with 2 jobs, you cannot afford to live there. I thought you had a second job just to have like extra income. No. And he was so in shock and absolutely horrified. And he's all like, well, isn't that what MAGA like promised you guys? Yep, sure did. But they decided to prioritize a war in the Middle East that we didn't need instead.
And she was like, don't you have 3 jobs? And I was like, yes, but 3 jobs still doesn't feel like it's enough. Like, I'm still struggling. And she's like, you're still struggling with 3 jobs? You work all the time. I thought 3 jobs would be enough. And I also thought the MAGA Republicans said everything would be cheaper. But we must be living in a different New York, because I am definitely not seeing that.
That's the enemy. That's what we have to combat. And just saying you got it wrong is not going to make it. It's telling people we're going to have task force and we're going to have to sit around and figure out how to make things more affordable. That ain't the answer. These kids, they're already checked out, many of them. We got to try to save the ones we can. And so listen to what J.D. Vance says here.
There is obviously, and I think it's beyond comedically, a movement in the United States to embrace socialism. We've seen, for example, a joke of a candidate in Wisconsin still get 300,000 votes, people voting for democratic socialism. But I think the real question, and I think it's a question for you, it's a question for Republicans at large, is this. When a young person looks at their life and they say, you know, I did what America asked me to do. I went to college, I got a job, and I don't think I can afford the life that my parents could afford. Now, whether or not that's statistically accurate, it is a real feeling and a growing feeling. So what is your answer to that young person?
All right. So before he answers the question, I'll tell you what my answer is. When someone says, I went to college, I did all the right things, I did everything you guys said, my parents said to do, and I still can't afford what? Because I know what it was like when I got out of college. I know many of my friends, not many of them went, you know what, I just got my degree, let me go ahead and buy a house. How about maybe we start teaching these kids about the progress, the process? What do you need to do next? Excuse me. In addition, Bobby, can I talk to you? What did you graduate in? What degree did you get? What job did it prepare you for? And when you start hearing those answers, because many of us already know the answers because we heard the guy yesterday saying they can't read or write, what is it, Johnny, that you can even do? The cold, hard question and conversation needs to talk to them about value. You've got a degree in X, and the job market for that degree is Y. And because you got a degree and spent 4 years and got a whole bunch of student loans so you can party and screw around for 4 years, now you've got a piece of paper you're hanging on a wall at home, but you can't do anything with it. Now I got to ask you a question. Bobby, Johnny, who told you to get that degree? And that answer to that question, why didn't you change it? Did you talk to a guidance counselor? Did you go in and talk to a professor and say, what am I going to do when I graduate? We need to turn it back around. It's not MAGA. You got sold a bill of goods. That's the problem right now. You don't have any skills. You don't know how to do anything. Now, although you're stuck, although it sucks, what I'd like to do is show you how you can change it. You know, you're only 22, 23, just got out of college. I know you don't want to make a career making coffee. Let me show you an apprentice program that you could get into so that by the time you're 26 and 27, you can buy a house. See the difference in that? It's just saying, you were stupid. You got basket weaving degree. And that I can do with that. But now, are you interested in how, right now, let me show you how you can get on a different track? And Will Cain just asked Vice President advance this question, and I don't like the answer at all.
You know, our answer, Will, and this is the exact right question to ask, because our response to socialism, which is a dangerous and destructive ideology, it's been tried in the past and failed. Our response to that can't be just to ignore the economic concerns that I think are feeding this rising interest in socialism. And I guess I would say to that young person that you as an American citizen deserve to have a good life in this country, and you deserve to have a government that is making it easier for you to start a family, for you to...
No, that's not it at all. It's never been that. JD, you blew it by saying that. You should have watched a JFK address. Remember what JFK said? It's not what your country can do for you. It's what you can do for your country. You don't deserve, I almost swore, people don't like me swearing. You don't deserve anything. Nobody has promised you anything. You have to take the initiative. And so if this is where we're heading and we're saying you deserve a better life, we're done. We are in big trouble if the message the vice president is telling these kids that are looking at socialism that you deserve a better life. We're in big effing trouble. That message right there could come back to haunt us in November. See, even the vice president said we deserve better. Nobody deserves anything. Nobody. No, we are not promised tomorrow in any way, shape, or form. We all have to wake up every single day and go for it. You know, we're right in the middle of NFL preseason camps, and some of the preseason games are happening right now. Nobody deserves to be on that field. Every single one of those players, except for the ones who are already signed with big contracts, they got to prove it every single day. Next week, they'll start cutting. You weren't good enough. You didn't deserve to play here. You have to earn it. And I don't mean earn it from an esoteric perspective. I mean, get out there, sweat, do the drills, everything you possibly can do to be a better wage earner, career path. You don't deserve anything. You don't deserve to buy a home. You don't deserve to have a wife. You don't deserve to have kids. You don't deserve anything. And so as soon as I heard that, I went, oh no, oh boy, I haven't been concerned about the midterms until I heard that. That's when I really said, we got a problem. Because you just played into their hand. SV and I both play poker, man. You asked, you just made a bad move. I'm going to eat you up now. Now I'm going to keep telling people, hey, the vice president said I deserve this. No, none of us deserves anything.
Afford to get a good education, for you to have a good job, for you to afford a home. And what I would also say is that whilst these things sometimes take a little bit of time, we are already seeing the positive results come from the president's economic policies.
Now you're talking. Now, what are those results? See, right there, if you would come back and and Will Kane said, hey, his kids are worried about socialism, what should they do? You should have skipped the whole beginning of that statement and said, we are already seeing positive results. Will would have come back, what are we seeing? Well, we're seeing this. We're seeing this. We're seeing this. How is that going to help younger people? We are in a different kind of war right now, and this is why the socialists are gaining ground, is because we don't have a unified response.
We're seeing trillions of dollars of new investment into this country, which means good middle-class jobs for young people.
How? They don't know, JD. Will is a professional. He's on television. He's making money. Most of the people watching are professionals or people who have careers. How does IBM opening up a new thing help me? You got to break it down. Remember, we're in the TikTok age. Talk real fast. How you doing? No, break it down for them. Nobody's telling them except, the Mondamis, everything's free. We'll give you free stuff. Free. It's going to be free. They don't understand the economics behind things not being free.
Income people all across our country. We're seeing housing prices finally stabilize. They doubled during the Biden administration. They have finally kind of flatlined during the first year and a half of the Trump administration. We also want to get interest rates down, of course, so that young people can afford a home.
JD, can you tell them what the interest rates are right now for a first-time home buyer? You see, tangible information, not esoteric pie in the sky. Hey, Will, did you know right now that a young person can get 3.5% down mortgage? They can have that down payment gifted to them. They don't need to even come up with the money all by themselves. And they can get a home up to X dollars, depending on your area. And besides that, the interest rate is about 5.5% to 6.5%. Tangible. Actually speaking to them. Now we're going to try it. No. What can I do today? If somebody came and knocked on that door right there in Barry, I need to know what I can do. Okay, let's sit down. Let me lay it out for you. Here's where you go. Here's how you do it. Here's what you need to do. And then if you have any problems, we're here to help. I'm ready to help younger people understand they're not screwed. They just don't understand what to do, and nobody's telling them. I wonder what their parents are saying. And I just didn't like this.
We want people to be able to afford the good things about this wonderful country that we all live in. And my warning to my fellow Republicans, Will, would be if we don't get this right, don't blame young people for being sympathetic to socialism. We've got to blame ourselves. And I think.
No. Well, kinda. We all, not just our politicians, it's too big of a hurdle. They are being blasted with anti-MAGA, anti-Republican, anti-American messaging over and over and over. It's everywhere you look. You turn on a television show. Last night I turned on a show and Robin's like, is everybody in this show gay? I'm like, I don't know. One of my favorite shows watching when I turn on a television is a show called Lioness. I think it's really cool. It shows like special ops and all kinds of things. And in the first scene of this season, the two chicks end up in the bathtub together. I'm like, what in the hell does this have to do with special ops? Why did you throw that in there? The show is written well. It's got enough strong storylines about them going to the Ukraine and capturing a guy and shooting drones. I'm like, this is it. Why are these chicks sleeping with each other? They're being inundated. And Lioness is an older show. They probably wouldn't even watch that. I can't even imagine the stuff that they tune into. And so the burden, if we want to save this and help these younger people, is to teach them, not to berate them. We can berate the people who are lying to them, but these kids need information.
What is so unique and refreshing about Donald Trump's economic policies is that it's not the same old economic, ideas that you would have heard 30, 40 years ago. He's talking about rebuilding our industrial base, rebuilding the heartland, making our streets safer, making it possible for young people to afford to buy a home.
How? Like I said, I love J.D. Vance. I hope either he or Rubio is the next president. I would vote for him. Still would vote for him. But I'd like to shake him by the neck here and say, you're smarter than this, man. And I know you're smarter than this because I followed you all the way back through Hillbilly Elegy. And I saw what you went through and how you overcame. What did you do? Let's bring it in here. JD, how did you get to where you are right now? I mean, you were from, Podunk area. You didn't have any money. Mom was a drug addict. How did you get there? Well, I did this, and then I went to school, and then I joined the Marines. Okay, hold on. Now you're giving somebody a life track. They didn't read the book. They didn't watch the movie. They're seeing you on TV as a vice president. You're like, you deserve it. Did you deserve it? When your mom, we all saw the movie, when your mom was in there doing drugs and strung out. and you were just a young boy, did you deserve to get where you are now, or did you do stuff to make it happen? And I think that just carries so much more weight.
This is how you stop socialism. You don't stop socialism by throwing slogans at people about the free market. As much as I love the free market, you stop socialism by making people's lives better. And that's what we're trying to do every single day.
All right. That answer, I believe, is worthy of a much longer conversation. Maybe one.
Exactly. That answer, in a very nice way that Will Kane said to him, was, that ain't the answer, bro. We got to have a much larger conversation, which I hope is next week. You see, he was being nice, and he threw J.D. Vance a bone. He's like, we got to talk more about this. You didn't really answer anything. These kids need us. These kids need us. Now, I just wanted to close because the last 10 seconds here, it underscores what I've been saying for the last couple of months about what's about to happen or is happening.
You and I can have in Austin as the University of Texas plays Ohio State. I won't make you commit on television, but I hope to see you September 12th in Texas.
Football. And they both went into big, beaming smiles. Will's from Texas, obviously J.D. Vance from Ohio State. But they went, after all that, bam, right back to football. Been saying it. I know people, didn't want to hear it the other day, or last couple of months, but that is it. That's the messaging. We got to get in and show these young people and fight their MK Ultra attack that they're under right now. Otherwise, there's no hope. Not just for them, the socialists could end up winning. They're telling them, you do deserve it. It's those people, those boomers over there have screwed you so badly. And then you get the reinforcement by people like, well, I don't want to mention the names, but you know who they are. Pollsters, other podcasters. Trump sucks. You think the gold age is here? It's not here. They're pissing on your head. Capital gains doesn't work for you. How many of these kids even know what the hell capital gains is? We have our work cut out for us, and we only got this much time. We got this much time to do it. So I hope you're ready for it. I really do. All right, SB, before I get out of here, because we're long here.
I don't know where to go, man. You had so much stuff. I'm going to talk 100 miles an hour. I don't know where we're going to go. What are we going to do next? What the hell?
It's funny. Somebody in the chat said they have to do that because they only have so much time to talk. And so they learn how to talk or they speed up the video so they can get in the next 30 seconds. And I'm like, I don't even know what the hell you're saying.
And then that vocal fry is so annoying. All right, start with cut 6. Let's work from the bottom and go up. We'll end on cut 4, okay?
Okay, number 6. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so this just came in 15, 20 minutes ago. Activist judge concedes defeat. Leftist judge Allison Burroughs just had to rescind her order blocking President Trump from terminating temporary protective status, TPS, for Somali migrants. 487 now has the green light to terminate Somali TPS. She has caved to the Supreme Court, which made clear Trump has absolute right to end TPS. This is the exact motion down below where she filed to impeach. She'll be impeached over. She knew she screwed up. Look at her though. She looks just like what you think they look like. I mean,
they. That's why when he was talking today and he was talking about the Save America Act, I'm like, you don't have time to pass it. So if something's about to happen, you're going to do something. Obviously, he's definitely going to be doing something because I don't see it at all that we're going to see this thing done by conventional means. I love this. Right, I love this next story here. We're trying to force you to pay higher prices.
Well, I mean, people ask, why is my electricity, why is my local gas prices? Because the companies are doing it themselves. It's Trump's fighting so many different, enemies on all different fronts. But here's a breaking story. 15 Democratic attorney generals are attempting to block Trump's FERC energy reforms that would streamline infrastructure approvals and lower electricity costs, even as the states they represent have seen prices rise between 20 and 73% since 2020 due to those left-wing green energy scam policies.
Yep. Again, this is messaging that the kids aren't getting. You won't see this story on the news. Nobody's going to talk about it. Definitely not on MSNBC, CNN, or any of the kids that talk like this real fast. Hey, did you know that they're never going to see it?
Let's go to that.
They're never going to see it. And they don't know that there's actually a war going on with themselves.
All right, so a little context before you show it. Remember, I brought it up the other day. Those new shock gloves for the to enable illegal migrants to comply. Well, this video, it's got music about halfway through, so don't play it sound. But
I can't play the video at all because it shows violence. It's violent, man. It's violent.
Oh, no. It's not really violent. I mean, it's just people falling down. It's not like they're getting hurt or anything.
No, they don't like the violence in it. But anyway, tell them what it is at least.
All right,
let me go ahead and I can freeze it. I freeze framed it.
So ICE was testing those new gloves, $20 million in shock gloves that's supposed to drop resisting illegals into compliance in seconds. And they go through some really large men, and they go down just like that. I mean, at first they're like, what? And then all of a sudden it's like they immediately go down. It's like a super taser. Right?
It's so much. I mean, you're right there. Bam! You can just grab hold of somebody.
There's no. You don't have to chase them with the thing. You go and actually grab them, and you go down. So
yeah, the guy right there he's got the black glove on his right hand, and that big guy that he's holding there. As soon as he touches him with that glove, he drops like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, all of them did. All of them. These weren't small people. Yeah. So I posted it in the chat for folks if you want to watch it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it's pretty good. It's like being tased, but without having to do the whole taser thing.
I didn't notice any wet spots on the floor after that, though. So luckily, it doesn't stop the kidneys from working.
Oh gosh, that's too funny. Stop their kidneys from working. All right. So we're at 3 hours. Let me go ahead.
It's Friday, right? Friday night.
I didn't know we were going to get this long, but we're here at this point. I do have. Okay, I lost sound because again these things last like 3 hours and then it goes away. So hold on, let me bring you up here.
All right. Hear an echo.
Where's the sound? Can you hear me?
Too. I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let me go to this because I can't hear you because I don't have any ears right now.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, sir. All right. Let's go to super chats and we can get out of here. And I hope you guys tune in tomorrow where I'm going to show you exactly what the game plan is. All right, Christina, I miss you, good people, next week, but I'll try to check in once in a while. Oh, you must be going on vacation. Okay, you're going to leave us like that, huh? Have fun wherever you're going. G Money. Those aren't Republicans on X. They just one of the last avenues the DNC can afford to spew on. They're flat broke. I assume you're talking about the panicans and the grifters and those guys, doomers. Yeah, I don't think they're Republicans either. Alec, what would happen if President nominated Caitlin Collins as press secretary? How would they react and how quickly would she change her stripes? Oh, please no. Please no. I mean, I saw what everybody was saying. What's her name? Carrie Lake. She'd be good, but probably too good because she wouldn't take any crap. Alina Habba would be good, but I don't know if she wants to take the pay cut. And Scott Jennings has emerged as a front runner because, he's got his own podcast. He's on CNN. So he could always go back to that. So he would be very good. Andrew, high housing means better curb appeal. Think about it. Yeah. Who wants to live in an area where it's not high? Big Cat. Hello, everyone. Have a great weekend. You too, Big Cat. Barry, I'm looking into tax liens. Tax liens are good. They work. Low risk. They're definitely guaranteed payment. So if you want to wait it out, they're definitely good. Definitely good investments. Tax liens. What was funny when the article that SV showed when it said that things were going to be a seller's market. What people don't realize is that often means something else, which I can talk to you guys about. But means foreclosures are going to increase, which is really when, I start salivating. Chiosop, when working in New York City, my assistant will point out a good-looking girl, and I'll say, stay away from the city ones. They're liberal and mental. True. Beverly, Beryl, I retired in 2024. The RMDs are draining my savings. Where do I go for help in Texas? The RMDs. What's an RMD? Am I missing something here? The RMDs. Go ahead and tell SV what you're talking about in terms of the RMDs. I wish I knew what that meant off the top of my head. Chiosop, my friends, the rally, thousands of people outside. They're at the rally. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people there. I mean, in Long Island. Pekoski, thank you. Fazul, my grandpa helped to build the Empire State Building from the whole to top off. Mandumi wants to erase Italians that helped build New York City. We want him gone. Yeah, need Tony Soprano to have a visit with him. For Bibles, Barry, it's me again. I knew great medication because of you pushing SpaceX on my mom. I made $700 in a month and bought a new Apple computer for my business. Opportunity is everywhere. I just turned 29. God bless. Oh, man. Boom. That's fantastic. And yes, we'll be starting up the Bible giveaways again very soon, right around the 1st. Alec, that woman who supports Luigi supports a guy who will end up being will be somebody else's girlfriend. Oh yeah, that's true. Liam, I think companies and organizations are taking advantage of the opportunity to raise prices because Trump can easily be blamed. Yeah, that could lead to it as well. Big time. Under national emergency due to proven voter fraud can pause an election due to constitutional crisis. Mark this post. Yep, he'll be fought tooth and nail, but I think that's where we're headed. John Robinson, Bear, can you do a show on SMRs, the roles in powering AI mega factories and the future power for everything? You've been doing your homework. Yeah, we can do that. Alec, the president loves to emphasize that somebody is wealthy. All the time. Head dude over there has got a lot of money. Yeah, he says it all the time. All the time. I pointed it out. Fazil, overhaul high schools with hands-on trading and commerce classes, senior year intern and apprentice focus, even job placement, how it can be done. Yeah, I never understood how come we're not showing these kids how you can make things more affordable. Get a better job. It's so simple, so simple. Went to trade school at 28. This is Steve. Retired 38 years, refrigeration master mechanic, baby boomer. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know you, Steve, but I know pretty much you could, if you wanted to, you start getting calls right away. It's like riding a bike. You could still do it if you wanted to. It's funny because down here, let me just tell you, down here, it's getting into the meat of hurricane season. And so right now, electricians, people, chainsaws who trim trees, they're making some serious bank right now. Everybody who's got trees that didn't get trimmed, they're trimming them up so that when the winds come, they don't get whipped around. Just a chainsaw and a couple guys that pick stuff up and they're making money. It's just saying. Nathan, I think Trump should run for mayor of New York City in 2028. That would be funny. Alec in Ross Perot style. Hear that creaky sound? That sphincter's tightening. President keeps throwing comms. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Fazul, 3 weeks intent to apply for 3 weeks in, I think you're saying Tennessee, to apply for apprentice. Yep. Don't forget all those truck driving jobs President Trump is opening up now. So there's all kinds of trucker jobs coming out. It doesn't make any sense. Waniska, I live in communist, globalist, liberal Canada. Gas is on average $1.70 per liter. 4 liters to a gallon at $7. Wow. Wow. Bukowski took a week off. Okay. Linnell, where I went to school in Pinellas County, there is a program for 5th graders called Enterprise Village. It is a hand-on field trip that we spend a day in a mini town running businesses. I like that. I like that a lot. Cheers up. Two brothers showed me the video of those influencers, and after a 2-hour conversation, we sat down and created a game plan. No one had ever showed them the way. That's exactly what I'm saying. People don't realize this is all they do all day. And they just keep scrolling and listening to this crazy stuff, and nobody's saying, hold on, let me show you. And then you can go tell a few friends, hey, listen, you can go drive a truck and make $100,000 in about 6 to 8 weeks of training. And you're going to have a $100,000 a year job. You don't have to pump coffee. And if you look down your nose at that, that's on you. Christina, where'd Christina go? I said that earlier. She's going on vacation, I think. Linnell, writing checks, making deposits, and shopping to learn real financial skills. The program is still around in Florida. So as she said above, there was a program where they showed kids what to do, how to do it. Here's how you write checks. Here's how you make deposits. Chiasop, the communists promised them fake, easy way. We need to show them the right way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nathan Hardcastle, no, Trump should run for governor of New York someday. I don't think he wants that hassle. Ernest, New York proves why we have to vote every time it comes up. I agree. Alec, PEA needs to rip the Band-Aid off, or we will see the biggest ballot drop in history. Pennsylvania, or maybe. And Lupe, Vance just stated the U.S. dollar's position as a global reserve currency should be ended. I didn't hear that. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I hope, like I said, there's some weird things happening. All right, everybody, I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to give you a game plan on how to turn all of this insanity around and make it a win for us come November, guaranteed. Talk to you tomorrow.